so many resources to making it to that World Championship.
Oh, yeah.
It starts
Let's
here
go.
today in this best of 5. Straight into champions select TSM on the blue side, Cloud9 on the red. Our first few bans out onto the board. It's Thresh and LeBlanc for the TSM side. It's Ziggs over there for Cloud9.
They're already scared of Perks' LeBlanc. Banning it away first rotation, showing that you don't want to deal with something that's going to be gank heavy, going to be influencing the rest of the map. So already this to me is the respect bans. When you go into the first game, it's really what you aren't sure they're going to play, but what you've seen them succeed before and what you really don't want to deal with. And it's the 2 picks that Perks has been the best at influencing the map.
Yeah, and when I think about the TSM side, remember, TSM picked blue for this series,
Yep.
and they really make good use of the power picks. I would love to see them prioritize the Lee Sin. Spica has been so good on this champion through the entirety of the postseason. He's been a huge force for TSM's early game, allowing them to stabilize and making sure that they have pressure, particularly in the top side of the map.
I am wondering if it's going to be a Lee Sin first pick coming through, just because, you know, all of the games they've won have actually been in the championship have been with Spica on Lee Sin, and so that's where we're going. I also think the TF ban from TSM is pretty interesting. Just wanted to call it out when we had Jat on the desk. He's saying that that's kind of been TSM's kryptonite and giving Perks that map control. We saw Niski have absolutely fantastic TF performances just coming out of the Fnatic series, so...
It's a heavy price to pay for the Lee Sin.
It's a heavy price.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in a way, a comfort pick to Sven in the Varus, but perhaps more importantly, the Xin Zhao.
Even Spica was saying how good Varus is in the late game, if I'm not mistaken, in an interview, how powerful this pick is, not just in the early laning, but guaranteeing that you have an easy way to win teamfights. A single piercing arrow on the right target means no one's able to engage at full HP anymore. So this is a really strong commitment from TSM to make sure that Spica shines.
I'm actually kind of curious to see if they will pivot to Trundle to counter the Xin Zhao, because that is still available and we could stick the Lee Sin top side. It's not necessarily something I see TSM specifically doing, but I just wanted to call it out in case Trundle is taken off the
I don't
table
want to see
later.
Hoon easily again.
You know,
I think we can put
you
that a
didn't
few
like that
patches
pivot
away.
and then the J4 jungle, you didn't like that?
No, not that. I wouldn't like it with the Trundle either.
And as we go into this C9 pick and ban rotation, I would love to see Leona get taken off the table against TSM. Sorta has been so good on this champion, although he's played Rel more over the course of the postseason, I think on Leona, he's most comfortable. It's his champ that allows him to go mid and consistently threaten and pressure the enemy mid laner. And it's not even so much about TSM getting an advantage. It's about destabilizing the enemy team's early game so that TSM can do what they do best, which is get to the mid and the late game, which is where they're strongest. So I think getting Leona off the table, and they took it off. Perfect, I'm happy.
I'm already seeing an interesting thing in the disparity between range between these teams, because the Varus is going to outrange everybody, but the Orianna does beat the Ryze when it comes to range.
Absolutely.
And so the Lee Sin has that flexibility to kind of bridge the gap in between, but I think that Cloud9 already has a range advantage just from the Varus and the fact that you can realm more people inside it, so they can both close the gap and play from afar, and that to me is an advantage already in the draft.
I also really just like the Rise for C9 generally, because we've seen Perks perform really well on that. And again, like I talked about why you'd probably want to take the TF away from him, just because it's a pick that gives him a ton of agency. You can go to side lanes. Rise does the exact same thing. We've already seen Perks play this champion really, really well with C9.
Yeah.
Heavy focus on banning out the supports here by both squads. We've got 4 support bans out on the board at the moment with Thresh, Braum, Leona, and Rel. We'll follow it up with a Nautilus of all things, and no supports yet picked.
We're calling.
Okay, hear me out. Bard angle for Sword Art?
For Sword Art.
Yeah, it's the
That
second,
makes sense.
It's the
It
second
could be
most
a
played in the
Yeah.
championship, and
That makes sense.
he's been pushed down pretty deep in the pool.
And we've got the Rakan pickup.
Yeah, so a Bard angle could be interesting. Just looking at C9's comp right now, what they have is a potentially really strong top side in the making. I think Fudge has been the best player on C9 over the course of summer. So I like the fact that on red side, they're saving the counter pick for last, and there's a lot of picks that are available to him. Whoa!
Whoa!
Pantheon.
Pantheon.
Let's go!
Hold up.
It has to be
Support.
support. Absolutely,
Pantheon.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But what a pick.
Huh.
All right.
Spicier in game 1 of the day between TSM and Cloud9. Just 1 pick remains for both of these squads.
Yeah.
And I mean, not what I was expecting. we've talked a lot about how in North America specifically, supports have been roaming a lot more. I do think part of that is because it hasn't been punished as much by opponents, and they've just kind of tried to match these insane roams, especially like topside has kind of been a 2v2 at times. And you know what? Like, Pantheon kind of allows you to do that. I'm not super sold on it, but you know what? It's game one. Let's go.
Yeah, it is game one. Let's go. I think that the big thing that allows Sword Art to do is to roam, basically, right? It's like a built-in roaming in his kit. Once you hit 6, you can sort of leave your lane at will and be a huge threat.
It's feast
Do I
or
like
famine.
the town catch? Sorry?
It's feast or famine. For
Yeah,
the
it's pretty feast or famine, so I think this puts a lot of onus on TSM to get things done early, but you know, with the addition of the Renekton and the Lee Sin, I actually do think that they have a lot of options for early game aggression. It's just not a look I see from TSM very often, and it's not a look I personally love. That said, you know what I also don't really like?
What?
I don't like Fudge on Tahm Kench. I think this has been the best player. I think it's been the carry for your team, but they do need a front line at this point, so it's fine.
All right, real quick, we just have about 30 seconds to go before we load onto the Rift, and I didn't get your predictions before Champion Select, but I want predictions for the series. Emily, I'll start with you, and we'll go this way.
C9 3-1.
C9 3-1.
C9 3-2.
3-2 here, and what are we going over here?
Like Fudge, I've been smoking that good stuff.
C9 3-0.
No way!
All righty.
Wow,
Well,
okay.
the entire desk is in the C9 camp, but it's up to the teams themselves. 3 wins separate either of them from a trip to Worlds. Cloud9, TSM, heading out onto the Rift. Let's get to it.
Today, we qualify the 3rd and final LCS team into Worlds. If your friends aren't watching TSM vs. Cloud9, get them to tune in. This is the match you want to see.
This is the most iconic matchup in the LCS. So much on the line here. The final World spot. And both these teams came into the year making bigger investments than they ever have before. Cloud9 picking up perks, massive contract. TSM grabbing Sword Art with a massive contract of their own. And they didn't do it to fall out in 4th place here. Both these teams have aspirations of the championship, of winning NA, of going on and qualifying for Worlds as well. And only one of them is going to be able to do it. And TSM coming out with a pretty risky draft, I think, here right off the bat.
Alrighty, well, speaking of the draft, Azael Latiger standing by with Mithy for a thought about this one.
Thank you, Freak. As the casters just said, there's a lot of pressure on the line at TSM versus C9. Tell me about team morale and how they're handling that pressure.
Well, I think this is what they live for, right? So it's just an exciting game to be a part of. So yeah, nothing really out of the ordinary, yeah.
You know, just another day in the studio here. It's a very interesting matchup right at the stop. Should be a lot of roaming that we see. Is there anyone in particular that you have your eye on TSM?
Well, we'll see what Sword Art does with the Pantheon pick. Definitely an exciting pick to watch, so we'll see.
Exciting times here in the LCS. Back to the casters.
And I think the Pantheon is where everyone's eyes are going to be drawn, right? It really is a very feast or famine pick. With Kalista, your ability to actually find all-in plays, to find 2v2 kills, is incredibly high. And this is why Vulcan has gone for the Exhaust, has gone for the Guardian. He's obviously trying to keep them safe. They do not have cleanse, though, so Sven is vulnerable. If TSM can kind of set up that early kill, get an advantage, that can unlock you on the map to really roam around, to make a lot happen. Because otherwise, you know, Pantheon playing the game even, it's very difficult to be effective in teamfights as a low-income Pantheon.
I love Twitter memes, man. It's enjoyable reading it. I'm a fan of the trash talk threads on Reddit. Shout out everyone who makes or participates in those. All the Twitter banter. It is my favorite time to be an esports fan because we're down to the end of the wire. It's the really popular teams who are playing at their highest level possible. And it's going to be fun. I do want to point one thing out, though, for the TSM fans, just in case you don't know. TSM, the last time they lost to Cloud9 was week 1 of spring. They got a 4-win streak against Cloud9 right now, all right? TSM fans, feel confident.
Yeah, I mean, playoffs is a whole different beast, though. You never know what's going to happen. Team Liquid, they were coming into playoffs 2-10 in summer against top teams. Look where they are now, Freak. They're in the finals.
They were 0-9 against the teams they beat in playoffs so far. I'm just saying.
I agree. There's reasons for both these teams to be confident. I mean, TSM was the #1 seed coming into playoffs. It was an upset for them to win, or rather to be beaten by TL.
Oh, Smite diff!
Oh, that sucks for Blabber. The early Smite, trying to actually knock that down. I think Honestly, I don't know that he would have been able to secure it either way because bot lane was roaming, so I think that's actually why he did the early smite. You could see that bot lane is pushed in, so he was trying to steal one scuttle even though he has losing lanes because he knew Pantheon and Kalista were going to be moving up, so the early smite came through. He's trying to rush it down as fast as possible. If you do not early smite, you're going to be dumping damage into the shield. So I actually think in this case it's totally defensible, even though it initially looks a little bit silly. He wouldn't have been able to get it either way, so he takes a little bit of a risk, uses the charge there to try to steal one away in what should be a double scuttle game for TSM. But TSM plays it appropriately, means he will not get that scuttle. Will lose a small price of that smite charge, but with 3 lanes getting pushed in, what can you do?
Absolutely. So, Fudge going to be under his turret a little bit. Going to take some CS as best he can. Of course, for our Spanish-speaking friends, check out FlyQuest's Spanish co-stream on twitch.tv/FlyQuest. But of course, we're going to keep the commentary going on to this one. Still a very close game. Speaking of memes, we've all heard, my Rise is bad, my Zero is worse. But it is his most played champion here at the Rise for Perks. 60% win rate. Not a bad look for him. Just below his normal pro win rate.
60%, when that's below your normal, it turns out you're pretty good at the game.
Yeah.
And Perks just going towards another pick that can move, that can push and roam, right? There was already multiple bans towards that, the LeBlanc, the TF, 2 champions that want to push, that want to roam, that want to be able to set up for their jungler. And here is Perks on another one of those iconic champions. I do feel he is at his best when he can make his own plays, when he can call his own shots, move around the map, really be active here. And Vulcan hovering mid, there's been so much priority on these roams towards mid, on covering your mid laner, on playing for vision through the river. And it's actually Cloud9 that have the better vision here already. There's this kind of like line of wards along here. 1 ward is being swept out, 1 ward in the river as well. They want to cover this. It's so important when you are playing these volatile mid lane matchups that can be affected by powerful roamers like the Pantheon, like the Rakan.
And wards going down. This is actually pretty smart clearing by both Spica and Sword Art as they saw Perks walk over and said, okay, probably putting vision down, tracks it, okay, no problems there. Close game, obviously, as top lane not far apart. The junglers, despite the double scuttle, are pretty close in camp count, so that's going all right. Mid lane's close, bot lane's close, but now here comes the roam squad. Vulcan, Perks, and Blabber all want into the bottom lane. Will it be enough?
TP immediately.
Explode. Now the TP's coming in. It's going to be enough damage, though. Blabber dropped, and Blabber is gone. Shockwave gets only Vulcan as the other flash the way. The TSM answer is in time.
Man, Power Evil was so fast on that teleport. That was instantaneous there, and Perks getting chased down. He's going to have to flash the Q or he's dead.
Oh, gonna get dissonance. Does it land? Spica, does he land it? Yes, he does! Thumbs up, TSM.
Oh, they have the wraparound.
Oh, yeah.
It's not over. 4-man dive. They're looking to set up here. Svenus, no flash.
TP, flash stun. Sword Art gonna drop the aggro. 3 dead, make it number 4. Vulcan, yes, the death pinch is in.
TSM playing this to perfection. Cloud9 looking for the early move towards bot side, and TSM more than equal to the challenge there. Immediate TP from Power of Evil. They win the skirmish on the first play here, and Spica walking around the corner. No chance for Blabber to have seen him. The immediate empowered stun from Sword Art into the shield, absorbing the damage. He was the target for Cloud9. Because he gets that shield up, he cannot be burst down. Then it's just the straight up chase down. Yes, there is the route from Perks to create some distance, but the ward hop in slows him down. He has to flash before the Q is used, so Spica can connect on that. Then look at the top side, right up here, Renekton has shoved in the wave, TP's on the minion, Sword Art holding turret aggro, the exact amount of shots he can take, wrap around on Vulcan, they take him down as well. This is flawless stuff from TSM. Beautiful plays in game number 1. They needed the Pantheon to get ahead, and lo and behold, here he is.
Trying again in mid, the frontline Pantheon. Yeah, puts up the shield, not gonna have a big problem here. Blabber still going in with the ulti on, knock up, and a trade kill does come in. Cloud9 will not say die just yet. Looks like Dragon's gonna be their prize.
They will move down towards that Dragon. Another well-timed E there from Sword Art. They're absorbing so much damage on this Pantheon. Perks in trouble, no flash.
Wave, Lee Sin to land. Spica is level 6, doesn't need to kick. Power of Evil claims the kill, and suddenly Dragon is no longer quite viable as Spica's in the chase. Finally misses his first Sonic Wave in approximately 8 minutes, and it will allow Cloud9 to walk away.
Man, Spica has been so active in these early levels, moving around, not wasting much time here on the camps. Right place, right time. Gets the kill mid on Perks, who had no flash from the earlier chase down. straight into Dragon there. TSM 5-1, 2K. FTX advantage here at 8.5. That is huge for TSM to come out with this aggressive draft, this confident draft here. But Blabber looking for the counterplay. Insta-cleanse.
Good cleanse, good flash as well. Lost getting away from a solid set of CC out of Cloud9, but that's what Summoner Spells are for. They're defensive after all. We'll see if Cloud9 can punish that. Vulcan still has flash, is not yet 6, so they can try to get lost afterwards. We watch that mid-fight again.
Yeah, here it is again. Really nice timing on the E. As he was about to get CC, drops that down, so it takes very little damage, but Blabber chasing through. Perkz able to connect. And then it's just a bit of an overstay here from Perkz. Wraps around, gets vision, thinks that he is safe as a result. But Spica actually saw that going down, then just ward hop over the wall, the shockwave into the Q. Easy chase down here for TSM. They get the kill, and that means they get the Dragon as well.
Oh, big fight in the bottom side. Thank you, Callista ultimate, and down goes Sven, and Vulcan might just be next. Stays live at 250 under his turret.
Let me draw your eyes to how sad this inventory is as well. He had to tabby his rush here, which I know you are not a fan of. There's a lot of physical damage on the team. Lethality being purchased up, so he did go towards that. 0 and 2, down multiple waves here to the Callista, who has 3 early kills. And there is so much dive on this TSM side. It is not going to be a fun game to play Varus.
And I will say, as much as I do not love Steel Caps, there's a game for it. It is this one. He has to walk to sidestep almost all the skill shots, and it's 4 AD. And it doesn't matter. He's still 0-2 and down 12 CS. TSM have been slaughtering. They're looking to extend that winning streak to 5 against Cloud9, as they might just kick them out of the LCS championship if it keeps going this way in this series.
We'll see. A lot of league left to play here, but the gold advantage truly in the favor here of TSM. We'll see what Cloud9 can get done. They do have some playmaking of their own. Explosive engage available from Vulcan, who is now 6. And Ryze in a side lane is always such a threat, but because there is Pantheon support, it's actually much harder to play out that side lane as aggressively. It's not Nocturne level. It is a support. You know, the engage range and the engage delay is kind of longer. So it's something he can try to play around, but you can't really shove aggressively without someone behind you, and that is going to change how he wants to play in these side lanes later on.
At least in the top lane, CS is equal. Oh yeah, Blabber is going to get flanked. He has a Varus nearby. He was summoners in an ultimate, and hey, now Blabber's on a control ward, so he feels safe. He doesn't feel safe! Spica's in there! Shockwave misses, and just barely the man lives. For Sonic, it's Sven tanks the Sonic Wave, so he's not going to dive the turret. Blabber's able to walk away. Spica just unperturbed.
Oh, Spica kick flash, aggressive plays. There it is, the trade of flash. I thought they were going to drop the Herald and then try to dive it because they had the Herald available, but instead they're ulting up towards mid here. Perkz trying to get out of there. Well-timed Realm Orb, 3 members collapsing. He finds the angle to avoid CC, knowing Power of Evil's Shockwave is down. He has to avoid the Pantheon and the Renekton. He does so, he gets out alive. Well played.
Really, really well played, but when well played is, well, I'm not dead yet. It's only, 1 and 2.
You take what you can get,
You
freak.
take what you can get. You try to not lose what you can. They're going to hope the mid-game looks a bit better because the early game is all TSM. Lost just dodges the jump in. No problems there. Sword Art, we'll try to get the cannon. Thank you for the 78 gold apiece. Only our fair bit into the game. And we take a couple of recalls. We got, Ryze. No, not actually going back to his base just yet. Full Gorge Drinker is done for Renekton. Huni, off of some pretty good farm, is on his first power spike, but similar there with Anathema's Chains and a Bramble Vest. Fudge is very ready to frontline.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the early investment in armor because there are 4 pure AD threats, but it also means that Power of Evil is going to be smiling. Seeing all of this investment towards armor, double tabbies spent from these bot laners early on, the Bramble Vest obviously on the top side. It's not that they're the incorrect buys, but a control mage can punish this. A control mage like Orianna has high consistent DPS. That is the comfort zone for Orianna here, and for Power of Evil in particular. As Huni looking for the roam play, Perkz was trying to match, but Huni had the read and will just dash out of there. And quietly has been having a good game himself. His only real involvement from either top laner was the TP down to facilitate the dive. Didn't get an assist off of it, but he did critically force a teleport in the 1v1 out of Fudge, which meant Fudge could not respond to that dive. And that is one of those things that can sometimes go underappreciated, but just creating that TP advantage is such a big difference, because if Tahm Kench TP's in there, has his Devour to save someone, has the Abyssal dive to knock some people up, can look very different.
It can, but well done to Huni, right? He has been an incredibly lane dominant player, some of the best laning stats in the LCS, and though Fudge has had a good year ever since maybe February, just, has been under some threat, but forcing the flash out of Huni as a chomp would have meant a dive, but they may still try away. Blabbers on the way in, knocks him into the wall, wants to chase this one down. And are they going to find more? Yes, they will. Rakan sets it up, and Fudge knocks it down. Cloud9 doubling their kills.
Getting a kill on the top side is nice, but there will be a pretty big cost. You look already on the map here. Bot lane tower is going down. Blabber is up on that top side, so Beacon knows he's going to be able to take away the Gromp, grab the Dragon. There is a cost to that play. It's something that Cloud9 has to be willing to go for, as the Shockwave will pull him in, but it should just be for chip damage. Because they are losing right now. So they got to look for odd number plays, and that was what they could find. But the gold lead is extending and extending here. Nearly 4,000 gold in the favor of TSM now that have a comp which can really snowball very, very effectively.
Looking good. 4K and 2 Dragons. They are well on their way to a 25-minute Cloud Soul. That's going to feel great. And overall, just the better team in this one. Obviously, an early game snowball can make it feel like your opponents don't have any plays left and everything you do works. So yeah, the game might feel like it's the whole way through. Perk's going to lose another recall as people willing to take a turret shot to harass him. But still a lot of lane pressure in the mid lane. As a shield bow is done, we're off to an early Rage Blade for Lost. There are a lot of ways you can build Callista. This is the optimal single target option, where you're just trying to make sure you can finish off the Tahm Kench or the Xin Zhao in front. Totally makes sense here in this context, but you can go Hurricane. You can even go things like Phantom Dancer to delay it a bit.
Yeah, Wit's End getting so popular as well. Wit's End plus Shield Bow just feels like flavor of the month. What ADC can you build this on is kind of what people are playing in solo queue these days. So will be interesting to see if he indexes towards that. There's a decent bit of magic damage here, obviously, between the Rise, as well as Tahm Kench and the Rakan. And when you have such an overwhelming amount of damage, I feel like oftentimes you don't need to maximize DPS. Sometimes survivability can end up being more important because you just need to not get one shot. And turns out a team with 5 threats can kill some people.
Yeah, valid. But we're on to the next aggressive play by TSM. Lost looking a little bit towards the top lane, but knows that Rise plus Rakan can be scary, despite having Summoners up. Doesn't want to go for turret shots, doesn't want to get Rune Prisoned into a Rakan combo, and just kind of chills out. Lee Sin coming top side as well. Spotted by a ward. Cloud9 knows that they're sending even more resources. Then we indeed see Perk's recall away from top lane. TSM aware of this and say, great. Lost gets some alone time at the top lane turret. That is going to fall. Turret score going to be 2-0. And even across the map, Huni is safely holding his lane against Tahm Kench.
And it's pretty clear which team is dictating the pace of the game. Just look at this line of vision here from TSM across the map. Even in the bottom river, they have a line of wards here. There's really nothing going on for Cloud9 as far as the vision is concerned. On the other side of the map, they just have this defensive line of vision, trying to maintain some control of their camps, trying to scale up, look for their own opportunities, but finding those plays becomes more and more difficult when there are wards everywhere in your jungle, tracking your movements, tracking your positioning on the map.
Well, tough as it might be, it is still Cloud9's job to find a way back into this one. Varus with the poke is actually going, by the way, not for a poke lethality build, but for more of a team fight option. Shield bow is in. We could clearly see. I would love what's them with only 1 AP in the enemy team, but you can still go for, some kind of Rage Blade or Phantom Dancer option and kind of go from there. Mid lane turret will definitely fall to second Herald. PoE easily within local turret gold range. In fact, even Lee Sin got a share, so Speak gets also 175. As mid lane tier 2 may take this crash. I don't believe Cloud9 can play aggressively enough to pop the eye. And indeed, they'll get that turret down pretty low.
It is really interesting, I wonder if Sven came into the game with the intention of going shield bow, or if it's just a reaction to, oh my god, this game is going bad, I keep dying, I need to try to find some way to survive, so kind of just going for the most defensive mythic here with the shield bow plus the tabbies early on, trying to give himself a chance to not just get burst down, because generally when you do go kind of the more on-hit builds, you see things like lethal tempo. And so to me, generally when I see Hail Blades, I'm expecting lethality, but could just be a pivoting game. And I think it makes sense, given the circumstances and how far down they are.
Yeah, my instinct is a pivot. My instinct is like, yeah, okay, wow, this was a really tough start. Okay, wow, all right, we're going to our steel caps and I'm going to need more, so we're going Shield Bow. And I think it is smart. I'm very happy to see players pivot builds. Right, Varus is one who has several viable builds. Whether you believe it before the game or during, I want to give credit where it's due. That is very smart to do. Saves the stun until the Tahm Kench dive, and that means now Fudge is on a 20-second cooldown and is not going to have an easy way out of this one. Just chasing the man down. He's going to take the last stun, and honestly, the shield, it's not going to matter. Yeah, here's the problem. Renekton and Power W pops it, and you get nothing done. Looking now at the next round as Spica is behind enemy lines. First charm comes in, and it's just time to run away, but Huni wants in for the stun. Can he get one, though? He's just locked down. The CC chain is too good, and Cloud9 find their third kill.
Oh, really well done on that CC chain because he had Gourd Drinker and he probably had Q available, so he could have had a massive heal come through and really change what that fight does look like. But the CC layering was there. They get a kill. Unfortunately for them, Lost was pushing this whole time on bot side. They take a tier 2 bot. They take 2 jungle camps away. TSM are just on fire in this game, absolutely dominating Cloud9 with a tier 1 mid down. You can see how defensively they're having to play. They don't have enough vision on the bottom side for Sven to really even be able to walk up into mid and get minions. He just kind of has to sit back and get what comes to him, and really, at this point, it's not a lot. It's going to be a third straight dragon given over. They are still on pace for a very quick soul here. And TSM have so many ways to play out this game now. You can win in 5v5. You can win through objective control. You can win for, just going towards that soul or a Baron. With this Kalista with Rageblade, that's a big threat here too. So Cloud9 have got to find some sort of a play to potentially turn this game around.
Oh, they're going to look for it. It's just going to be tough to do so because their time is running out. I think an easy, well, let's take the replay first as we look at the mid lane fight.
Yep, this is the play after that bot lane kill. Nice shockwave out of brush there from Power of Evil, but the E shield plus Guardian from Vulcan absorbed a lot of that damage. Then Spica just kind of kiting it back. Vulcan doing his best to peel. Huni goes down, rooted, knocked up, charmed, not able to get the Gourd Drinker and the Q there off on a number of targets, and really wanted to try to get in the mix there to get the most value out of his healing. Wasn't able to do it.
No, that is the one weak point on the comp is Renekton is not the best late game champion, but I mean, who cares realistically? Because you snowballed the early game, you've had all the lane control, and you're just gonna crush the game. You're gonna hope to get that soul at 25. TSM still looking for more as Perks and co are clearing jungle camps inside of brush. Sword Art gonna face check, and yeah, actually not quite so much a face check, but a spear check, and like, yep, definitely there. Out you go. Hold on. More going on. Nice Scryer's Bloom going to reveal where Spica, Sword Art, and Power Evil are. The top still under fire. Lost and Huni putting pretty big damage down. Won't quite kill it. Oh, the flash in! Absolutely beautiful setup by Huni. The knockdown was there, instantaneous. And now Blabber wants in. The charm, the knockup. They're going to trade 1 and 2 back. Cloud9 again, willing to fight to the death. Baby. Flash for Sword Art. Pulled right back out. Nice job by Cena to get 2 kills, even in the 4v5.
Yeah, that was big. Blabber going in aggressively, making a play for the team. As TSM has just been pressing, they have been relentless. They were threatening the wraparound. They're trying to take the tier 2. They do flash and get that initial kill onto Perks, but because they couldn't actually finish off the tower itself, that was such a boon to Cloud9 in that fight, and getting those 2 kills back at least stems the bleeding somewhat. It is still 5K FTX advantage for TSM. That is massive. But Cloud9 get a little bit of something, and it was all about the initial threat here. TSM are trying to threaten the wraparound, and Perks is getting some confidence as they do clear it out, but then flash in, stun up, lockdown, burst down, Blabber hit by the shockwave, so he's low. Spica thinks, hey, maybe we can move forward for this. But as he goes forward for the poke, Blabber just hard engages alongside Vulcan. They CC them up under the tower, not allowing them to finish that off. Then Fudge arrives, and Sword Art is forced to flash, then get pulled in by the Kalista ulti. He gets the safety, but Cloud9 have got to try to fight this next dragon, and will they be prepared? It's 2 minutes.
That Blabber fight, I want to point out, by the way, he jumped in, he then flash ulted to make sure he knocked someone else into turret range. He went in because the minions were gone and said, hey, Vulcan can follow me up. I want to make sure the turret is helping. That's how he win the 4v5, and he was right. That 2-3-0, of course, brings the gold lead closer. But yes, FTX gold advantage, still 5,000. Dragon Soul in 2 minutes. You can peg that at about 3 to 4K to add on in terms of stats. And that's kind of the direction we're headed right now. TSM going to put a control ward in the Baron pit. I love this ward right outside the alcove. It lets you see them come in, but almost every control ward will fail to see that. So Cloud9 knows they don't have to worry just yet.
But it's always so hard when you're playing a game and you're this far behind and your opponents have a legitimate Baron threat, right? Because Kalista plus Lee Sin, those two alone can threaten just a duo Baron, honestly. With that Rage Blade, Wit's End has come through as well. 3-item Kalista, just the 1 item and a couple pieces for his Ven is pretty disgusting. So they have got to be worried about this constantly. Anytime they're off the map, you have got to try to go forward and check that. And that gives TSM so many opportunities to find fights with their gold advantage, to really get the maximum from this, which is so important with this style of composition that depends on flanks, that depends on skirmishes. It's less about the true hard engage.
Sword Art wants to get rid of some wards, and he wasn't spotted quite as he came up. Gets knocked it down for 30 gold as well, and not going to be an easy target. Able to walk away, make sure, yeah, they really own this pit as the wards come down over the walls. They've just kind of lined this up and lit it up with wards. Dragon's up at 40 seconds.
And I love the Umbral Glaive here from TSM, having that on Sword Art. It's something that we don't see a lot because the champions that built it are not really in the game very much recently. So the additional vision control, especially from ahead, you can see he's walking around with 2 control wards. They have multiple sweepers. They have control wards being picked up by everyone. And that Umbral Glaive just kind of acts as an additional sweeper, really. Allows you to just control vision so aggressively and is making Vulcan just reset on the map constantly, even just to refill wards and try to keep some sort of line of safety for their team from which they can check in on that Baron.
All right, well, here's the Dragon, and
just
as
giving
you
up.
mentioned, yep, Kalista and Lee Sin are the 2 on the objective. It's the Smite, it's the Ren, they've got single target damage. Those are the ones TSM sends to make sure the objectives fall, and indeed it happens. Dragon's Soul claimed under 25 minutes. Imagine that gold lead has almost doubled, because that move speed is going to matter a lot. All the ulti CDR, that matters. The extra stats from the Mountain and the Infernal. Yeah, it's a lot that's not just in the gold lead.
I think Renekton, it's one of the champions that benefits the most from it. You want to play from a flank, you pop the ulti, get a massive burst of speed into the back line there. Makes it so difficult to actually stay away from as one of these low mobility carries like the Varus, like the Ryze. So Huni on 2 early items, grabs the stopwatch, and is going to have a lot of benefit here from this Cloud Soul. TSM have not taken their foot off the gas pedal, and Cloud9 just clearly said, we can't fight. We would like to prevent this, but we are not in a position to do so. So I think the only thing that they're going to contest is Baron. And that's where TSM are going to want to pressure as a result. It's going to continually be this battle for vision, this battle for control in the jungle, and we'll see if Cloud9 is willing to take a fight around it.
See what happens. Top lane tier 2 under fire is very, very low. A single auto will kill. Who's going to walk up? It's going to be Orianna. Power Revo claims 1. Turret score is 5-1 right now. Cloud9 have team fought pretty well in this game. Maybe they think as it goes later on, they can actually find that as their victory. But now the only objective up right now is Baron. Every single turret except mid tier 2, and that one's low. It's at like 20%. Has already been felled outside of Cloud9's base. Knockup found, but Spica able to jump onto a cannon minion and stay alive.
Yeah, just not enough threat without a true carry behind you. Tahm Kench is never going to burst you down, never going to 100-0 you. And honestly, even Sven is going to need some time to knock down the Lee Sin, who is very strong at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Multiple items are through for everyone. I mean, Sorta has a friggin' Duskblade. Like, this is actually ridiculous. He's got 2 items there with his Mythic completed. He is a true threat. Like, this cannot be ignored. He doesn't have boots because he's actually just rushing all the long swords.
Let's be clear, Sorta has as many items as Sven.
Yeah. And I think he would probably win the 1v1.
Yeah, he does.
That's scary, man.
He's got a lot of money, man. He's killed so many wars. He's got 57 CS. Like, he's a rich man from all that going on. Both supports have a great vision score from, the wards knocked down over 100 apiece. Well done there. And we keep the Baron set up in our minds. 6,000. The gold difference right now. 800 of that was the top tier 2 code a little while ago. The other hundreds are just fluctuations as minion waves are dying and picking back up. So still, we look at the chance at a Baron setup. But TSM, they have plateaued the gold difference somewhat. I don't hate it, but it's what's been happening so far. Knockups, big CC chain. Stopwatch buys time. When do they re-engage? Big damage is not going to find a kill, but Ryze wants in. They're going to look for a shockwave on a 2. Spica heals up with the Gorge Ring, but knocked up and still dies. So
Huni on the flank.
The gold deficit force it. It's Cloud9 finding at least one kill, but Huni gets it back. He is squishy though. Gore Trigger, Q, Sterix Gauge, and a stopwatch. Next round comes across, and it's a full-on retreat for Cloud9, but the reinforcements have arrived. 1-0 again. TSM win yet another fight, 2-1, and Huni wants a little bit more. Will not find his first target for some, but he will find a second. Wants to lock down Fudge, not quite able to do so, jumps away, but TSM again, they win the fight.
Yeah, they win that fight, and with Lost alive, they can go pressure the Baron here. There's no flash on Blabber. You know that for certain. So the turn is possible. And can they even contest this here? Callista, as long as you are good with the Rend, this should be yours. He has no way into the pit. There's no blast plant there. He's going to have to try to W over the wall, E in, and pray he can get something. But I think it's just dead before he even shows up.
Should not be a chance. 700. They take a good amount of time. And yes, Baron is claimed. TSM walking over Cloud9 so far in game one.
They've got everything they need to close out this game now. Cloud9 going for the big play here in the mid lane. I like the attempt because they see multiple members. They see the top lane on the wave, they see bot lane on the wave, and so they look for the play, knowing they're gonna have the extra man here. Speaking of, Flash Ward hops out, the commitment comes in, but the shockwave on the turnaround was beautiful. As you arrive in the Realm War, PoE has it timed out well. They throw Sword Art back in, but the Aegis Assault has done so much work in this game, blocking out that damage. Then Huni arrives on the teleport with the flank. Cloud Soul movement speed here, meaning a lot in the chase down. And again, Sword Art surviving with so little health. He has been so annoying in this game, always timing his Aegis Assault so well.
Yeah. Wow, 2,900 damage from the support. You know what? I said he was doing better than Ven. He's doing better than Lost. He's doing better than Spica. Sword Art is not overrated after all. Just give him damage, champs.
I mean, he's doing more damage than anyone on Cloud9 in this team fight.
True.
It's honestly pretty insane, the work he has been putting in on this game. Got the stopwatch, and now he's got the brown paper bags on his feet. He's going to be moving faster, even more threat here. TSM, enormous gold lead, picking up all the towers here. Spica escorting in that minion wave mid. They can threaten the dive here. They can just try to continue extending the gold lead. For now, they're just defending the cannon minion and allowing it to do the work for them on that bot lane tower.
All right, down to a few more turret shots, but Tom Kench poke, Varus poke, that will nearly kill it, and it finally drops. Some time is bought. Here comes the dive in the back line. Big ult for Blabber, looking to kill the back line. Stopwatch used for Power of Evil. Naga comes across for Vulcan. It's going to be a kill yet, though, as the health bars are dropping. Guardian just pop. Shockwave buys a bit of time, and there's the 2-0 start, making a third for TSM. Sven is next. And it's 4-0, and here comes the Dragon Slayers. From above comes Sword Art, and that is the ace, and that is the death for Cloud9 in game one. A Bud Light ace for TSM, 15-6 in kills, and they never let up. From the early game snowball to the Dragon Soul to the Baron, TSM controlled Cloud9. Absolutely the better team in game one. Spica and their reads. If you missed Crumb's segment on the analyst desk about how they read the entire plan for level 5, tracking the wards and countering the dive, that was amazing. TSM were prepared to play. Cloud9 fought back a little bit. Now we go to game two, we switch sides. I want to see what Cloud9 has.
Something I'm actually really interested in is, will the priority shift for Cloud9 on Lee Sin? Almost all pro teams you talk to say Xin is better than Lee Sin. That should be the higher priority pick. But Spica's basically showing us, well, none of you're good enough on Lee Sin. They actually prioritize it more highly. They care a lot about this pick. Blabber, also a very strong Lee Sin player. Are they willing to take it away here to prioritize it that highly themselves? Or are they comfortable just going for continually playing with that Xin? And the answer right there, Lee Sin, first pick priority now for both teams. And Blabber is very likely the person going to be piloting it. He is going to have to show up here, because if you prize this pick this highly, you do not just automatically win against Xin. It is actually really hard. You have to execute at such a high level. You have to be so proactive. Xin is so much easier to, I think, have an impact in team fights than Lee Sin is. So there's a lot of pressure on you to get things done early. TSM, early Xin plus Renekton. Will Cloud9 match top lane here? TF was left up, so that is definitely an option. I would actually love to see like TF plus, you know, some sort of a side lane play, you know, maybe TF Jace or something along those lines that you can try to really punish this Renekton. If you want to go aggressive, there's other options. Gnar is much more of a safe answer to Renekton. I wouldn't call it a counter pick, but it's what most people go to. It's just kind of that safe answer. And this does set them up for 1-3-1. It's not as gankable with the Gnar as it is with some of the other picks, but Lee Sin can still attack mid with the Rise.
Curious to see what happens, because obviously you've got Cracker, so you've got some gank ability. If he's ever mini Gnar, that guy's just dead. Orianna Rise is going to be the matchup again here in the mid lane. And obviously with the Gnar locked in, we know it is definitely Lee Sin. This will make it tie as Blabber's second most played jungler with a pretty cool 74% win rate, above his normal win rate, so it is something he is very, very good at. That said, if you just look at Summer Split, Fudge has played twice many Lee Sin games. Of course, Lee Sin used to be much more of a laner. Yes, exactly. That role got nerfed, and again, we know it's Gnar top, so yeah, no surprise here. So same roles have been picked for both teams. And we're going to the bans for the bot lane now.
Okay, Kalista taken off the table. I mean, it's parity in the roles that have been picked, so there's going to be a lot of focus here on bot lane. It just depends which teams are going to prioritize what types of picks. Leona and Thresh were already off the table. Will they be banning out some of these more engaged style picks that Sword Art does like to play? It would be really interesting to see if Pantheon got taken off. I don't expect it. My guess is that C9 will still say, hey, yeah, you had a good game one on that, but if you do not execute in the same way that you did in the bot lane, your game will not look nearly as good. I still expect there to be more of a high priority on the tank style supports, things like the Nautilus, like the Rel, Leona, etc. Braum is available if you want a strong defensive support. It has not been banned out this time because TSM is focusing the marksman instead. And with the double marksman ban, they're going to be looking likely to just grab Varus here with their next pick. So now Cloud9 has to kind of decide, do we want to deny that, or are we okay getting pushed down to like maybe an Ashe or something along those lines, or an Ezreal? Are we more concerned about what Sword Art is going to do? Because he's the player that most people are looking towards, and they are in fact more concerned about what Sword Art is going to do than the priority pick here for Lost. But it feels like an easy Varus, very likely for Lost, and then it's just what does Sven have as the answer? You know, Tristana is also another option, but I don't think you want to play the Tristana into the Varus because Sven is so good at the Varus.
Yep,
Makes
goes
sense.
for it.
Yeah.
The other thought I had is in case you really care about Leona, but she's banned, right? So I think like the engaged support pool has been pinched, but it hasn't. TSM throwing two bans and then pick a litter for bot lane.
Exactly. And I mean, when you throw the double ban on Marksman, that's why I just immediately assume they're trying to essentially make it like a triple ban with the 2 bans plus a takeaway to really push Sven down. And he will go Ezreal. So it's going to be a very kind of defensive lane here for Sven. With Rakan Ezreal, like this is one of the weakest viable 2v2 lanes, I think, in Pro League. I think that is, as far as what you're looking to do, it's just mitigate. It is not attack. It is not dominate. It is looking towards team fighting. It is looking towards roaming. It is looking towards the ability that Rakan has to really impact these 5v5s. And again, he goes to the Pantheon. The confidence pick here will be brought out. There were other options he could have gone for, but he is going aggressive. And once more, they are playing a lane that does have high kill potential. You know, it is not the Kalista, but the stun coming in from the Pantheon can set up for the guaranteed piercing arrow, pop the W, the Q comes through. For the execute, you can chain that with the Varus ultimate, post 6 as well, or even set that up. And it's going to force the cleanse here from Sven. So we're in for a really interesting game. Aggressive top lane, aggressive bot lane here for TSM. And for Cloud9, it's going to be about playing through solo lanes, very likely mitigating loss on that bottom side with this Cleanse Ezreal, with the Exhaust on Rakan, trying to roam around with your Lee Sin and make things happen because Blabber needs to be proactive, I feel, in this game.
See what they can do. It's going to be fun to watch for. Cloud9 got dominated in the early game, and now they've got to turn that around because TSM have generally not let go once they've had the lead. In playoffs, they've had statistically the strongest mid and late game because they just get more and more than their early lead suggests, or they fight back from deficits. Cloud9 may need to battle them in the early to make sure that doesn't come true again. Champions, of course, locked in on both sides. Loading into the game here for number 2 of what could be 5. Heck, could be 3. If TSM really remain a class above, this might be a quick day here in the LCS as TSM punch the ticket to Worlds, but Cloud9, of course, have the skill, have the pedigree to fight back.
Yeah, not a team to normally go down without a fight here. I'm expecting them to battle back. Quick pause as we do go in game, so we'll let you know as soon as we find anything out about this. But all the Rune Summoners looking pretty standard. The only one I already talked about was that exhaust from Vulcan, but I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, when you are playing against Xin, when you're playing against Pantheon, against Renekton, there's so many valuable exhaust targets, both in that 2v2 as well as in the team fight. See, ready has been called by both teams, so probably just a quick setting or something that needed to be changed.
Okay.
And we should be good to go here shortly.
Great. I'm excited to see it. I talked about it in the previous game, but I'm always excited about this time of year. I'm excited about the kind of games we're going to have. It's been a really fun weekend overall. Sword Art's happy. He's smiling, laughing. That's good to see. And then going for a standard, very sort of passive option with the tier. You do not have to start tier. You'll have plenty of time to, you know, get there later with a Doran's Blade. But, of course, as the team set up for the level 1, it's always good to hear the side lane commentary from the coaches as the top laners see each other. The Tigers are standing by with Curry.
Thank you, Freak. What a game for TSM in game 1, having a lot of control against quite the volatile C9. What was your read on that game?
The read on that game was we just wanted to come out really aggressive in the first game. This is our game to go to Worlds. So this is a series to go to Worlds, and it's our last chance, so we're just going to play all out. Yeah. And we just played really aggressive from beginning to end.
A lot on the line, and even with that being said, C9 still showing their strength in team fights. What is the confidence of the team to be able to continue suppressing them here in game number 2?
Our confidence is super high. I mean, they fought well, but we fought better, and we won the game. So we're just going to keep doing that all series.
Better fighting gets the win. Thank you for stopping on by. Back to the casters.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Yeah, early game aggressive TSM looked great. I gotta say, any sort of early game aggressive team is going to be one that I'm gonna kind of give a nod to. I think it's actually a very important playstyle to have, especially when you want to go internationally, when your goals are to represent your league and your region. And I feel like early game is really, really important as these continues to rise later in the year. Both teams have gotten deep wards of the opposing red buffs. Spica is spotted doing his. They notice that Blabber's not on his own red. So they can surmise that both junglers started topside.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to understand, you know, where these junglers will be. The question is, where are they going to head from here? It's very rare that you see anything from Lee Sin without having red buff as far as early ganks. So I'm expecting pretty passive pathing. You know, at least get the red buff, then maybe look towards mid. That feels like the best setup he has is towards Perks, you know, trying to attack Power of Evil, who's obviously not playing with Lens. It is going to be TP, so the setup from the Rise can be quite valuable, and that's definitely a 2v2 they could look towards.
Shit's coming across. It looks like, yeah, bot lane control, no surprise, belongs to Sword Art. Of course, if you can land that Q poke, looks pretty good. The Vulcan doing a pretty standard option of starting E in the defensive lane and just saying, well, I can guarantee a Guardian shield, so pretty much none of your burst is going to really work against Ven. Check out the top lane matchup, by the way. I think Gnar versus Renekton is going to be a bit more action-packed than the Renekton Tom Kitchen we had before. So the free Pro V match for this one should be fun to watch for across these two top laners.
Yeah, more of an ability, I think, for Fudge to, if he plays well, dictate the lane, right? In the Tahm Kench, it's more about survival in a lot of these lanes, and he farmed pretty evenly. It did go fine for him, but the map had kind of fallen apart before he was really involved, so we'll see if he can get anything going for his team up there on the top side. Early tab is going to be super valuable for him with the move speed. The ability to chase down is so important in these range versus melee matchups to get that third proc of the Hyper, and as expected, looking towards mid after the red buff. Well, but Power of Evil is playing towards that top side.
Right, he knows exactly which way Blabber has been pathing. Nice little rune prison damage, but not going to have quite enough follow-through unless you want to go for a flash or ward hop play. They don't have the damage at this point. I mean, he's out of range of Perks, who's out of cooldowns anyway, but smart playing on the lane. Fudge doing really well against Tooney. This is a chance at a kill, forcing the flash as a boomerang would have meant a flash follow, guaranteed a kill with Hyper. So, in the top lane, Fudge has agency, and already he's up a summoner spell.
Yeah, that's huge, and he's going to be up too, because very likely you have to actually TP back in this situation. Spica has been spotted. Will they try to move? It looks like Power of Evil has the push, so I don't really think they can move, and Spica is up a level, so will just be a fight for this, with neither jungler having their smite available. Supports are moving, trying to support, and Spica just going to have to give this one up, so nicely defended by Cloud9.
Yeah, a nice attempt at the gank a little bit earlier. Of course, an attempt at the punish by looking at chickens. Basically,
fast plate.
Yeah. All right, no big problems here. And yes, turret plate down to the bottom side. Gold lead 160. Pretty standard. Trinket ward goes down. They know Lee Sin's towards the bottom side, likely on the Krugs, as they saw him pathing there beyond the Raptors, and now they can know one more likely gank angle. As he can get over the Dragon Pit somehow with a ward hop and then try, but that's going to be a bit tough to do. Vulcan wants to find a knockup. Bit of damage is stunned, but trade looks okay as he shields back to his team, and just a bit of damage on a Lost.
Yeah, not bad. Just trying to make Lost respect any sort of potential aggressive moves here. They're trying to get the push in this case, and Fudge did save his TP, Huni used his, so now is where you can try to look for cross-map plays, or at the very least, dissuade them from your opponents. Fudge here wanting to make sure that he continually can extend this advantage, maybe call Blabber up here. If Huni is pushing, he's just kind of trim the wave. It doesn't look like he's hard shoving, so if you can keep Huni on your side of the map, and he is flashless, then there is potential to make something happen if Lee Sin gets up there.
He's going down to the mid lane. Once again, looks like Perkz has the push, has control over mid, and now he's like, hey, top lane looks worthwhile. Flashless, TP-less Renekton, that's what I want to go after. Pops the Scryer's Bloom, sees there's only the one ward. Fudge can kill that trigger ward, no problem. 10 gold apiece for that, and it means that round 2 can look good as PoE wards the bottom side of his lane. Now there's no real coverage for top side unless Sinjao gets there to look at the next time Perkz wants to roam.
Yeah, Sven getting poked very heavily here. Does have a couple biscuits, but might just base off of this. They haven't seen Xin for a long time. They have really no deep vision on this bot side, so is going to have to play it somewhat safe. Vulcan trying to step forward, but not sure if Xin Zhao's in that brush, so you can see him hesitating to actually walk all the way into it.
Bit of a cross map right now. Rise at the top as the bot side control is going to get Dragon. They're not playing to cover Renekton. They're saying, Huni, you need to live. Instead, we're going to get an objective. So here comes the 2v1. Room Prism, but he jumps back onto the turret, and Huni lives in the 1v2. Fudge used the tail end of Mega Gnar, got a stun, but did not get enough damage. Dragon will be claimed, and Huni's getting most of the farm.
Yep. Huni able to survive that very easily. We didn't see the start of the play. Mega Gnar's on cooldown, so he obviously did get that off, but maybe it was like a buffered stun. And that situation can really kind of turn bad for Cloud9. If, as the Renekton, you can buffer your stun as you're getting stunned up by the Mega Gnar, there's not really any follow-up damage coming through. Perkz, arrived a little bit too late. That Mega Gnar was expiring, as you kind of pointed out, so not able to make good on the dive. They lose the Dragon on the bottom side, so their counterplay not going to really amount to anything here. But Blabber trying to hover. Lost is out of mana, just about, so maybe going to look for some sort of a play here as Vulcan steps forward.
Okay.
They're going to go for Sword Art.
Locking up a Sword Art. Got to find the knockup as Speak is coming around.
6, though.
He has ways out, though, right? He's got the E charge, so he can jump back. It's not going to be a problem. They see what's going on. Not going to find too much more damage. And at some point, the recall. Of course, we haven't seen the C9 bot lane recall yet. The same on TSM. And yeah, eventually, C9 has to take the bad recall because they're always going to be pushed in. The health bar is getting lower and lower. And eventually, all right, out we go. We'll lose a wave.
Man, yeah, that actually really sucks, though, because you're going to lose another plate, too. It's already pretty low. That's a very costly recall. I'm surprised they don't step up for one auto. It's literally one auto to get that plate. To get
auto
the gold.
then recall?
Yeah.
And you're probably getting the share? Yeah, you're probably right.
It literally one auto attack, and you would get the 160 gold. So I'm a little bit surprised. Instead, they're prioritizing the tempo here.
Yeah.
It will stay just above, so it ends up working out just fine. They can collect that plate later, and I think that's kind of their read. But it does mean Varus further ahead. As I kind of expected, I just think Ezreal Rakan, to be frank, just sucks as a 2v2. There's not a lot you can really do to outplay this sort of matchup. You can't outpush them. You can't really outpoke them because Varus will just sit behind the minions. He can poke through minions. You cannot. Rakan cannot look for any sort of an all-in playing with the exhaust.
But
so
here's the goal.
You just got to try to get out of lane. Yeah, exactly. Make things happen elsewhere. But TSM has done a good job of actually preventing that. It's a slow early game, but I think that is kind of to their benefit here. When you have this Lee Sin and this Rakan who are kind of drafted to make plays, and Sven getting wrapped around on.
Oh, does not quite get the stun for Sword Art. Made the choice to go for a straight Dirk instead of Boots. That is maybe the right call, but it means he was not in range to get the stun in this instance, and Sven is able to save his cleanse.
It's the same thing he did last game, right? Prioritizing just building up this damage, getting towards the Umbral Glaive. I think that is the goal, just the fastest possible Umbral Glaive. Utilize the gold income you get from the support item. You only get that 1,000 gold there.
Okay.
Speaker going in.
Yeah, walking away, hitting a ward, and it's going to be a first claim. Shocker lands here as well. Good damage. Blabber jumping back, tries to stay alive and follow through. First blood once again for TSM. Now Fudge running away under his turret. TSM still on the chase, forcing a second flash out of Perkz.
They do get a little bit here. They're trying to go back in.
Oh, Ezreal shot barrage on a 3. Health bars are low. Mega Gnar not anywhere close to in range. Huni has a big stun. They got a follow through from the jungler. Ulti comes across from Spica. Gets the slow. Almost the kill with Cole the Meek. And now the follow through is in. Fudge has dropped as well. And TSM stay alive. Literally 12 HP left on Sven. Nearly the flash Q gets the kill out of Lost.
TSM just take the fights. They win the fights. They are out executing back-to-back games in these early plays here. And Huni got so much value in this fight, getting in, hitting multiple members with all of his spells there. Cloud9 are able to actually rush this down. They do take the initial play, but Spica, unperturbed, he just goes straight in. They have the shockwave to follow it up, so even though Blabber initially gets out, he's always slated to go down. Spica has a W connected, dashes in there, takes him out, and then Huni here on the re-engage, they have the Ezreal ult coming through, so they say, hey, we can actually set this up. And the setup was nice with the Rise damage coming through, with the Ezreal ult, with everything coming forward. Huni, the initial exhaust is great onto him, but as that expires, look at this. Slice, dice, Q on 3, they are getting roasted. Fudge was trying to re-enter the play, hoping that he could actually get to Meganar and turn that one around. And had he been able to transform and get Mega, I think that could be a potential C9 win in that fight, but he does not. They burst him down. And Cloud9 out the gates behind once more here against the TSM that is looking on point, that is looking confident in these fights.
This has got to be the most tilting thing, is play the other side of the matchup and still lose it, and that's what's happening for Blabber against Spica. All right, wow, the Lee Sin's really good. Okay, well, first pick it away. Don't worry about it. Sorry, buddy, Spica's still better. Stronger jungler, absolutely right now, doing so much work for TSM in the 2-0 start. Doesn't care what kind of lane control you have. It still works for Spica. And we'll wait to see what he can do with the Rift Herald. He has snuck into the top side. Ulti's going to pull him back. They're going to find a stun. A ward hop kick back. Is it enough? Ulti popped. Big stun. Yes, they will find the kill. So a good gank comes across the top side. But here is Spica to defend the wave and lose at most a single turret plate.
Yeah, not even able to get the Demolish proc there. I think it prepped, but did not go down, so not able to get that plate. That was a great play, though. The scoop back into the queue, into a ward hop kick even further back, so no way out for Huni. That's the kind of play you need. Blabber needs to be proactive. That's the first good play he's really been able to find. He's going to drop the Herald mid here, try to get some gold for Sven, who is severely lacking in the gold department.
Yep. We know the... Yep, so he's not even going to get gold on his end. It's all going on to Blabber.
Yeah.
Rift Herald charge, plate gold is always global. And, yeah, Sven had to walk back. So, okay, Blabber earns 320 gold for his Rift Herald charge. Okay, great. But you're still kind of walking back a deficit here. 580, now 600 FTX gold advantage on TSM's side. And it's time for the second dragon. They've been actually very aggressive about dragons in this series. Oftentimes we'll see teams, oh, well, we'll get the kills, you get the dragons, we're going to play aggressively for gold. TSM are getting both. This is rare in Pro League to really get all of this, it feels like. And they're just walking over Cloud9 in the early game.
And there's a reason they're doing it. It's because they're just straight up outplaying in the fights, right? And you can do that if you're willing to take the fights, you win the fights, then you get control of the map, then the rewards are even greater. In most cases, it is so rare, as you're saying, because teams will opt to trade, right? They will opt to not take the fight. They will trade cross map. They say, okay, you're going up here. All right, we're going over there. We're going to take a tower bot because you're going top. And instead, TSM just meets them where they are, beats them where they are, and then takes it all.
That first such trade, to their credit, was Huni in the 1v2. Right? It was a tower dive traded for a dragon, but the tower dive was defended. Huni's flash is level 5 against level 6, and he's like, it's cool, see ya. I'm just going to walk backwards, and he's going to recall. And it's like, okay, Huni, a round of applause. They got nothing, well done. And then, as you mentioned, the team fight they won despite Herald being taken. Herald got 2 turret plates. TSM got 2 kills. That's better. It's looking great. Shockwave on the bottom side now as well. Perk's going to trade back, and now he's got a support, but it's not going to be a knock-up that lands, and PoE is safe to push in the rest of the wave.
He's got a support, but Swordart's got a carry here. He's got the swords in pocket. He is ready to go. And they were looking to just straight up knock down this tower. Herald went towards Cloud9, but it's TSM that are going to grab first tower here on this bottom side. Perks cannot step up. TSM going to extend that FTX gold advantage here, about 1.5K, looking good. The one winning lane right now for Cloud9 is Fudge, and he is going to have to try to do his best to continually extend this advantage, to pressure Huni, because he's got to be this pressure valve for Cloud9, somewhere where they can get things done on the map, somewhere where TSM is bleeding gold, because you do not want TSM to get into that comfort zone where they're extending their advantages constantly as they did in game number 1.
And what I'm also impressed by is the versatility of TSM as well. Obviously, okay, Spica winning both sides of the jungle matchup, but Swordart had 2 career Pantheon games heading into this. 2. It's like his 17th most played support. None on the year. It's like, nah, ready to go. I'm going to support Diffu here as well. It's the Rakan counter pick. No problem. I'm going to crush you with this one. And it has been the difference, right? The amount of control they had over bot lane is why they're getting the Dragons. In both these, he's been such a big part of all the kills they've been getting. Like, really impressive to see him add that extra champ to the pool and have it work so beautifully from the get-go.
Absolutely agree. And I mean, no matter which way this game goes, it has been impactful twice in a row, and that can really change what drafts look like. Do you actually have to ban that out? Do you have to try to pick your support later in draft than you want to? Cloud9 moving up here. They're going to fight around Herald.
All right, first knock up. True Shot Barrage onto 2. Low health bar on a speak, and then we got to walk into range, but he Gordricker's back up and burning down Vulcan. TSM want in for more. Flash stun for Huni, but now he's got to get out. I know, he's got no dice. He's got no flash. He is going to fall. Ulti's good damage, and Power Vivo claims it at the end, but Lost set that one up. 2-1 in the fight, TSM.
Do they want to contest, though? I mean, you almost have Meganar here. You have your 3 carries alive. If they feel this is important enough, I think this is a potentially winnable 3v4.
Vulcan's running over. They got 10 seconds till to 4v4. Take that timer in mind. Keep in mind, smite difference goes down to 1K. It's basically guaranteed. There's the weak point. Not able to hit it right now. Vulcan spotted on a ward. Great sense there, but the stun's going to come across anyway. They're going for the support, and yes, they will shut down Sword Art, but it will trade back against the Meganar. However, Perks fires in and knocks down Spica, so yes, Cloud9 stick around. They get the Vulcan flank, and they get the 2-for-1.
Cloud9 strike back, finally winning one of these important skirmishes here. This one around the Herald. They're not rewarded with the Herald itself, but critically, a couple kills there for Perks. Sven getting involved in the action as well, getting some gold back in his pockets because he has been down. And now going to be able to push forward here, try to pressure this tower. But you can see Sword Art's coming out of base, so if they go too aggressively, there is the potential of the Pantheon just moving up, supporting with the ultimate. But the targeting there was great from Cloud9. Vulcan coming in, Fudge setting up with the Meganar. They burst down the Pantheon. Because it's all about the Aegis Assault to actually stay alive in these fights. Vulcan going in the pit, looking for the wraparound here onto Spica, but they're not able to burst him down. A little bit anti-synergy as the kick was coming through, as Sven was looking for the True Shot Barrage, so it does not both land. Then Huni in fast there. Lost almost connects with the arrow, but Sven was quick on the Cleanse Flash, is able to avoid it. Over the wall, PoE picks up a kill. But knowing you have Mega, knowing that they are missing their ultimates, this is a winnable fight here for Cloud9. So they delay, they wait for the support, moving out of base here, looking for this potential engage angle. And as he comes, Fudge is going to move in from the top as Vulcan moves in from the bottom. Yes, Vulcan is spotted, but look at the engage here from Fudge. Multiple members into the wall, focus there on the Pantheon, burst him down before he can get the Aegis Assault out. And then, yes, there is the trade, but again, the focus fire onto Spica, taking him down as well. That was a really well-played fight from Cloud9, and it is good to see them stepping up to the challenge of TSM, who has been looking incredible through 2 games.
Has been looking good, and TSM, they're looking for a bit more. Perks, that minion, yeah, you are...
I think that was an intentional execute, because there's a TB behind him.
Yeah.
There's the ult coming in. You know, it looks silly, but this ward back there is, I'll wait to see if we get a replay. But the ward in the lane was getting TP'd on from Power of Evil. You see the ultimate coming in from Sword Art.
Yeah.
So there's actually no way out. So your best recourse there is just to say, all right, I'm going to try to trade my life for the tower. It does end up living, but still, at the very least, you don't give over kill gold. So I actually respect the play there. Looks silly, but I think it's the right call. Because he has a shutdown too that he denies from them. Yeah. You do not want to give that extra gold. So yeah, it's right here. It's this ward coming in. It's them moving up from multiple angles, looking for this play here. And I just think he decided that he wasn't going to get out.
Yeah, watching it back with full vision, which again he doesn't have,
but he doesn't know where they are. I think his read is that they're coming in, so he's going to make the execute. I agree. You know, with full vision, he could ult out or maybe TP out early and not die to it, or walk. But I think if you try to walk out, you do get Pantheon ulted on and you get caught by that TP. Either way, it works out, I think, just fine for Perks because he doesn't give over any gold on the kill. He does get the execute. They lose Herald off of it, but Fudge is pressuring bot side, almost takes that tower down. So Cloud9 still in a pretty good spot.
I do want to note, though, that TSM are on Soul Point. They, even after the aftermath of that previous battle.
Round 2.
Yes.
This versus the tower.
Here we go. Gets the not Sonic Wave, sorry, it's the other blue skill shot that comes out from a just human with stuff on him. No, Pee-wee holding the wave. Minions are in, though, hitting the turret. The turret's getting low, and Perks gets his revenge.
The best storyline there. All right,
He's,
Perks.
1-1 against turrets. One more death, he can be in his comfort zone.
That's true, yeah. He's not yet lower bracket against the tower.
Maybe that was what the death did. Maybe it's just best of 1 the whole way through.
Oh, so that put him lower. Well,
He's
now
gonna
the towers
sweep
are doomed then.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, we'll see how he does in the side lane then. We'll have to track that important storyline here.
I love it. Don't worry, we'll keep our eyes updated. But yes, TSM on Soul point, and we are 2 minutes and 45 seconds from an Ocean Soul if TSM retain that control. Gold is close, though.
Man, it's so interesting this sort of just doesn't buy boots on Pantheon.
Yeah.
This is back-to-back games. He's not even super fed this game, so it wasn't a pivot. He just seems to have the read that the engage is about flash engage, the engage is about the ultimate, so it's not about closing the gap with the move speed. And because he's playing more heavily in the 2v2 and not actually roaming as much, he's playing 4-lane dominance, the boots also become less important there. But it's very atypical from support play, so it is interesting to see him have this different read that, no, it's actually most important for me to complete lethality, get an early Umbral Glaive, move towards the Duskblade.
Yep.
And I think it's a pivot that has worked pretty well for him. So we'll have to track if that continues to do so throughout the series.
Definitely surprises me, because it's not like he's running the magical footwear rune or anything like that. I checked initially. So, all right. Cloud9, though, still looking to play active. Keep in mind, at this point, any wards you put down will stay alive until Dragon spawns. 2.5 for any Sightstone wards. Obviously, infinite time for blue and control. And so we know Dragon is important. Yes, a Baron Sneak is possible, but TSM's Baron Dragon is not that high. Cloud9's is probably even worse. And so we're looking around the bottom right-hand side of the map.
Yeah.
Who can get the control? Who can make this happen? Because I don't think Cloud9 can come back from such an early Ocean Soul.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, I think it's potentially a series-defining fight that's going to be coming up here. Losing this fight, if you lose that soul to TSM, if you lose that fight, you're going down 2-0 in a series. You're putting yourself in such a difficult position. So we'll see how well Cloud9 can execute. Whoever makes a big play here, it can be game-changing. It can be series-changing. The gold is very close, so Cloud9 has the ability to win this fight, but Sorter is looking.
Renekton's close, and Gnar is still in the lane. So TSM have a moment here. You got to random jump over the wall and find Blabber? No. It's going to walk back. Of course, no wave to crash through the outer turret.
Fudge just make it out, so he's not going to have it for the fight. And that's actually so big unless he can recharge.
Wow, they're going charm. Wow. Exhaust, knock-up, kick back. Purchases a flash way to stay alive. Hootie, they get Mega Gnar for the fight. He got there in time. That's why they forced it. And it's enough to find the top laner killed. He'll be dead for the time Dragon spawns. Have the TV back in. So 5v4 for 30 seconds. What can C9 do?
Well, TSM trying to pressure this tier 2 mid, so Cloud9 can't actually start it just yet. There's still 20 seconds, of course, before it does spawn up. Will that kill even have mattered? Did they overcommit? Because Huni has TP. He's going to be up here in 20. They'll have a slim window where they can try to force.
Load, but Speaky doesn't have his second jump, so he can't get on there just yet. 7 seconds till Dragon spawns up.
Solos are basing from Cloud9. They're going to have to double TP back here. Huni's going to be up in 5. So Cloud9, if they want the fight, they got to go now, but oh my god, that chunk on Vulcan.
Big damage. At least he's ulti-less, so he's not important anyway, but here comes Huni back alive. Perks gonna get a blue buff steal, and this could be a 5-on-5. Again, Ocean Soul if TSM lands the smite. This is gonna be a 5-on-5 for 50, maybe the future of this game. A big ult. Mega Gnar almost ready, and Fudge will not quite die. Dragon yet to reset. Engage on a Spica. Won't kill him, but Vulcan is dead, and it's claimed by Blabber, keeping Cloud9 alive for now. 5 versus 4. 4 versus 4, sorry. Both supports are dead.
Fish in a barrel for Sven.
TSM hemmed in. Engage. Shockwave will find 2, and Lost puts 1 in the dirt. TSM in control of the map. They can walk away alive.
Power of evil. That was so big, and he'd not been able to find that Shockwave, fight their way out. Sven would have been able to pick them off one by one in the pit there. What a tense fight. Blabber coming up huge, though, gets the steal, does go down, but they needed that Dragon so badly. That is huge. As it all came down to this initial play, the Mega Gnar was popped in bot, and so they just made the call, we need to force now. We do not win this fight without it. The crunch comes through, flash Mega Gnar into the wall, they kill off Huni, Spica does retreat. And then it's the reset on the play because TSM drops Herald mid. There's still 20 seconds before the Dragon, so they couldn't actually go for the initial fight after that. Both C9 members do base. The Soul Laners TP back here. They look for the fight, but it gives time for Huni to get back up here too, to rejoin. And this could have been so bad for Cloud9 if Fudge went down. almost burst out, gets hit by the Varus ulti, the Q poke from the Pantheon, from the Varus, everything coming through, and then Blabber threading the needle, nails the Q on the Dragon, goes in, Q smite, gets the execute there, and Power of Evil just stepping up, fighting forward into Perkz, flash over the wall, knows there's no vision. The safeguard came through from Blabber, and I love the follow-up from Lost, seeing the two-man shockwave. That was incredible setup from Power of Evil, flashing over, getting those kills. That was a huge play from Lost. That was a huge play from Power of Evil, and you can see it reflected in the damage.
Yeah. Really big out of the mid and bot of TSM. Sven did land a lot of his skill shots in that fight. Building a bit defensively with the Divine Thunderer build. And now Perkz hopes he will not be stunned. And indeed, Renekton W was down. Speaker couldn't get his third Q. And that is Perkz able to walk away just barely.
Oh, I mean, that Everfrost was so critical. If you don't land the Everfrost, I think you just forget about the interrupt. You just die to the Renekton. He has very little health there. You know, one more auto plus the burn from the ulti potentially could have done it. Of course, I'm not sure if Huni just had that ulti up because it is up now. Either way, Perkz able to escape by the slimmest of margins there. Trying to play aggressively in these side lanes, but it's going to be tough. Not only is there that threat of the engage from jungle plus top, if Sword Art is missing, he can ult in, especially once he hits 11. That is going to get even more dangerous for them.
Okay, looking at it again. Looks like Spica walking forward, not going to be knocked up,
flank.
but does have flash for an escape. He wants to go in instead. Pushes out Vulcan, and a root on Huni slows him down as well. As the ulti was popped, they're not going to get much. Sven takes a bit of poke. He's going to get him back with an ulti onto 3. Sword Art, I believe, blocks his side of the damage. And now it's going to be a retreat 2 minutes until the next time TSM can claim Ocean Soul.
But I like that they're playing aggressively around this. They're not actually just sitting back and saying, all right, we'll see you next time Dragon's up, right? They're fighting. They're pushing forward. They're looking to take down towers. They're looking to take away jungle camps. They're playing with confidence. Curry spoke about this, how he wants the team to play with no regrets, how he wants the team to play aggressive. This is potentially your last series of the year. This is your last shot to continue on for the championship, for Worlds. And TSM wants to play in the face of Cloud9 with confidence, and both these teams are just going at each other, depending on their ability to execute in fights, and it is a beautiful thing to see.
It really is. Cloud9 certainly playing a much closer game than in Game 1. The bot lane priority gave TSM the first couple of Dragons. Okay, fair game, but since then, Cloud9 have fought back pretty well. The team fights have been close. Obviously, you can see that with the 7 to 8 kill score. They are able to team fight well, even from the Drake and the gold disadvantage. It is doable. Sterix Gage now done for Blabber. He's ready to front line. This is the big, sort of fighter combo you need to hold on in the mid game as a frontliner.
They're grouping up here. It looked like they were trying to group. I was thinking maybe some sort of a Rise ulti play, but Sword Art here on the wraparound. And PoE, big bounty on his head, and he got Mage Eyes. The confidence that one shows. As Fudge is just pushing on this top side, he does have TP available, but they may need him for even the setup. The Dragon is in 30 seconds, and Cloud9 have no vision even on that entire side of the map. It's just a massive wall of TSM vision. This whole section is blacked out for Cloud9, and they've got to find some sort of a way. If you are not going for the Ocean Soul, you must take Baron, or the game is probably lost, and it looks like that's the play. They're going to try to draw TSM up into a fight. They know they don't have vision. They don't have wards to fight for the Dragon, so instead they're looking to fight in this area. Fudge about to Mega. Will they commit? Because Varus is here with the poke.
Renekton coming around as well. Flashes up for basically everybody.
Fudge is going to go, I think.
And it's going to be much of a team fight. Huni and Fudge going to see each other. True Shot Barrage hits Sword Art down a little bit low, but now they're going to lock down Fudge for a bit. He ultis only one person. That's a big waste, but they're going to Realm Warp in, looking to kill the Renekton. They just can't quite do it. Huni's able to walk away. Orianna shield on his head. We know the Ocean Drake is live, and TSM get first dibs at walking down.
Yeah, man, they got so split there. Really risky stuff from Cloud9. But they're trying to force. They just don't feel that they can do anything about this. Power of Evil, though, he's going to solo the Dragon. And this is the answer from TSM. This is exactly how you want to play it. Lost and Spica poking around. Cloud9 are checkmated now. I think they have to commit to the Baron, or they just are going to lose.
Well played, TSM. Cloud9 took a risk taking the read. They couldn't do it any other way, and TSM take the fight correctly. They send in Sword Art just for good measure, just to guarantee it. As Ocean Soul is claimed, TSM well ahead of Cloud9, looked at a 2-0 start.
That is so big. It was all about the vision from TSM. Cloud9's read was they just can't fight this with no wards in the area, so they weren't willing to actually show up for it. Nice little red steal there from Spica. And I mean, Cloud9 are pretty close as far as the gold goes, but Ocean Soul is
that.
worth so much, is worth so damn much, especially against champions like Ezreal, who want to poke you out, who want to chip away at you. It gets incredibly difficult, and you can make that even more difficult when there's very little heal cut at all. The only thing is an Executioner's on Fudge.
Yeah, he's finally started it. So he's getting a lot of value, obviously. There is the double Gore Drinker, there is the Ocean Soul, so it is nice, from a let's go Cloud9 positive for a second, from the sense that it's the only Dragon Soul you can actually directly combat. You can directly nerf what it's doing by just buying some Grievous Wounds, and okay, well, you can, peg it at, 4,000 or 5,000 gold worth of stats. Well, it's 40% of that, because you've cut that healing down. Like, to be clear, I think TSM are clearly heavily favored. This is a very good soul. It helps the frontline stay alive a whole lot longer. It's really, really valuable. Is it possible to win? Of course it is, right? If your combo is let's one-shot Rise, his healing for 1 second with Soul is not going to change that math very much. Like, the ways in which Cloud9 win are probably still the same ways, but a lot of those edge cases just go away.
Yeah, exactly. And the long extended skirmishes that we've seen a lot of become so difficult, where you have this back and forth, where you go in, you chunk someone down, you back up, and it's this back and forth, this extended play. That series of plays against Baron, the value that Ocean Soul gets in that kind of scenario is worth much more even than it feels like than the 4,000 gold. So TSM heavily favored here. One of the other things I love about Ocean Soul is you can just keep trying Baron over and over. You don't care. You will stay full health. You will continually heal back up. And this is going to push Cloud9 into a really uncomfortable position where they have got to come in here. They have got to fight this. And their game could be hinging on this potential fight. They're trying to force out the TP from Fudge, but he's walking instead. He wants to hold on to it. But, I mean, if they commit to this is going to be dead here pretty soon.
Okay, ulti comes on in. He's going to try as Vulcan gets a little bit of damage across, but no kills just yet. Kicking back Spica, and they've knocked down Pantheon. 1 for 0. Cloud9 will get the damage. Spica going to jump in. They're going to trade back on Perks now as Spica is still able to frontline. Huni just find the same. 1 for 1. Mid laner for support, but the Xin Zhao is in for more. Fudge nearly Mega Gnar. Not going to be slowed yet again. Is able to get away with his flash, but the Baron has been stopped and stalled. 1 for 1. Now again, on to Spica, front line holding up with the Gore Drinker. Time to heal, but the burst is going to be enough anyway. Again, Cloud9 can focus a target above the region. Now Huni wants in, but Huni's going to fall. Cloud9 do have the damage. The scrappiness is there.
Man, the threat from Fudge as well, deciding so much in that fight. The fact that he didn't just commit the Mega Gnar onto Huni meant Power Evil and Lost cannot walk into that corridor. He is just playing bodyguard for the other 3 C9 members to be able to burst down Huni. And that is fantastic team fighting to see. Cloud9 not going down without a fight. TSM still fully in control, but it is now C9 on the Baron here. Spica is down. Huni is down for 20 with no TP. This is Cloud9's window here. If you take the Baron, if you can force around Elder next, you have a shot here.
Look at the Baron right now. No jungler. Mid laner nearby. Can PoE find a shockwave? Can he somehow steal this game away from what could have been the comeback? Looking at it now. Smite comes in time, and it's Sword Art forced to flash away, but that man walks a bit slowly. Cloud9 don't want to go for any more. They know the respawns have come in. They will just take their Baron. They will take their recall. And from a game that was starting to look hopeless, Cloud9 may just be ahead.
And they're going to have the Baron buff when the Elder spawns. So that gives them a win condition. That gives them this window of opportunity. Look at that flash from Vulcan. What a play. Flashing over the Varus ultimate. CCing up multiple members. The stopwatch there from Perks on the Orianna ulti did buy some time. They had to stay focused on him. And then the extended play, TSM trying to actually chase after Fudge and take him down. And so much of it was playing around positioning. Cloud9 move around to this sort of side. Fudge comes in to actually section them off, and then it's him playing bodyguard. As Huni moves forward, you'll see Huni moving into this corridor, and then Fudge is just trying to threaten the Mega Gnar on the side. Cloud9, Realm Warp to bot. Presumably there was someone down there that was recalling. Oh, Huni TP'd out. The Huni TP is on cooldown, so Huni must have just TP'd out from that play. Yep. But just really good positioning around that kind of corridor. Fudge not allowing the carries to come through and back up Huni. And to your point, when we were talking earlier about that soul, hey, if you can just burst someone down, if it's not that extended play, if it is the 100-0, can look good.
So, Red Bull Baron power play, 1,800 gold so far. They're going to look for 800 off a side lane tier 2. That seems pretty likely, as TSM can't realistically defend this one. Pop goes the turret, up goes the gold lead. All right, 2,300 FTX gold advantage here for Cloud9, but the Baron ends in 1.5. And then, once again, you're like, well, we've got more items, but they've got more regen. It's going to tie it up somewhat. A blue still going to come through as well.
Yep, heal cut, though, on 3 members now. Everyone picking it up. I'm waiting to see when and if that is going to be upgraded. We see the Glacial Shroud in the pocket of Sven, so he may just go towards Frozen Heart first. I do think there's a lot of value to be had in an upgraded heal cut item here, and I would like to see that. But Cloud9 are focused on maximum power now for this Elder. This is your window.
Yep.
The Ocean Soul lasts forever, but if you can use the Baron to get the Elder and end the game, who cares?
Absolutely the case. Now, looking at mid lane control, it's going to be slow going, but TSM still get the wave in. Baron on for 30 seconds after the Dragon spawns. They've got a decent-sized window. Fudge is starting the Gnar, right? He is building up the Fury. He wants to be able to get there, get the Rage, transform, and be the team fighter. Level 17 on that champion. Huge ult for Sven, drops Sword Art low. And just like that, TSM may not be able to fight. Spica kicked to half health as well. And is it over already? Is there even a chance of the TSM fights? We're seeing a recall from Sword Art. He can't TP. He can try to ult, but that's still going to take a little while to get there. Dragon resets. Cloud9 taking a little bit too long. Spica wants in. Going to take the fight. Vulcan ults across, and they're going to shut down one. Kicking back Huni, looking to knock him down, but he is tanky. And now we got Sword Art here as well. Decent damage from Lost. The snipe could be good. Can he find a kill? Not just yet. Fudge stays alive. 2, 3 kills picked up. Looking for a 4th, and Cloud9 have Sven drop to Lost. PoE still alive. Blabber forces a flash away. Heroics from Lost. Spica is dead, but Blabber is alive without Smite. Theoretically, this could be taken. TSM could burst it. Vulcan low. Blabber can't land the Q, and again, no Smite.
He can't get in.
Varus could do it. Varus could take it, and Lost may have found the win for TSM.
Lost was incredible, that fight, playing so much of it over the wall of the Dragon Pit there. Non-stop poke raining in from him. And Blabber without the smite, I'm not sure if he used it to heal, to stay alive there, or what it was used on, if it was used for combat. But not having the smite meant that TSM was able to secure the Elder for themselves, despite a winning fight for Cloud9. And we gotta watch this one more time. Fudge is trying to play bodyguard on the top side, but it was really all about this angle here. Lost kind of wrapping around to this side and poking constantly over. Even as Huni and Spica do go in, Lost is damaging C9 members over the wall here with the poke constantly. Cloud9, they have to commit over on to this jungler and burst him down. But Lost has this kind of angle where he's just constantly shooting Qs, shooting Es, utilizing the Ocean Soul regen there, landing poke after poke after poke. Power of Evil surviving. Lost finds his opportunity, flashes in, kills off Sven, Power of Evil kiting back, and now all of a sudden, Ocean Soul kicking in. These two carries are back at full health in the long extended play. Cloud9 is anything but. Blabber without his smite just can't get the Dragon. It is finished off with the Q in the air. TSM heroics from their bot liner, who has been often criticized for his play in the critical moments. This time comes up huge.
Temperate slightly with the fact that Elder Dragon only went on the 2 surviving TSM members. That is a little bit of a gut punch. It makes it less valuable than it could be, but the Golden XP, of course, is still valuable. And yes, we're going for the base on the top side as Perks is hitting the bottom lane. First inhibitor turret has been felled. The inhibitor itself is open, but maybe worried about Cloud9's wave clear. The other turret has been dropped. Inhibitor is down first, but the recalls are coming through. Perks may just answer equally, but Sword Art's on the way to slow him down.
Yeah, they're going to TP on him.
TP.
He's got to get out.
Warp. Is it enough? Can he stun? Flash stun guarantees he's there. Huni pops the ulti, and it's time to chase this man down. Not going to find the root just yet. Flash stun's going to come in. PoE is there. Shut down comes across.
And
Baron's
that means
25.
Yeah, they're going to get the Baron off of that as well. Perks playing it pretty risky, staying around for a long time. Once Sword Art is back, you can always get Pantheon ulted on, even chase down. TSM commit heavily, they even TP in, and they end up needing the TP from Huni to get the kill. So at the very least, Cloud9 got that, but there's no way you can contest the Baron. So now you're giving up the Baron as well. You're hoping that there's some sort of a miracle play. It feels like you're down to those kind of guerrilla tactics where you're looking for a ward in the base, where you're looking for a base race. You're looking for something crazy, because in a straight-up 5v5 at this point, it's so tough to fight against the Baron, to fight against the Ocean Soul.
18 stacks to Majai's Power of Evil. Clearly, Cloud9 not going to stand anywhere near this objective. Not even a true shot barrage. They will not look. It will be a smite. And it will be TSM wearing the second Baron of the game on all 5 members.
Power of Evil has over 1,000 AP now. Whew. 18 pages in the book. He's got the death cap. He's got the Baron buff. He's level 18. If that shockwave hits you, you are dead.
Now be careful, because TSM may try to end the game off of this buff. The Elder Dragon, of course, has long since timed out on the important members who had it. And now it's just about the Baron siege. FTX Field Advantage has switched hands back to TSM's favor, 1200. Baron power play should be getting this bot lane tier 2.
I mean, I think they could get a lot. Cloud9's wave clear kind of sucks, to be honest. Ezreal, this is one of the weaknesses of the champ. It's so slow to poke these out. Perkz can do work to it, but he has to expose himself to a lot of risks to actually step forward and wave clear this. So I think this tower is just going to be gone unless Cloud9 are willing to fight for it. Nice dodge, though, by Vulcan, dashing back to avoid Lost Salty.
It's all about where you put the ball. Blabber gets to lose about 40% of his health from just dissonance in the Luden's Echo. Turret still taking some damage. They're going to wait for the next wave. Someone's got to walk back and grab it in a second. Red buff stolen by Spica, level 16 in the Xin Zhao. As they walk in the next wave, they're finally sending Spica over to mid to push that one in as well instead of just putting 5 bot. Vulcan wants in. Flash. Great double flash. Gets the bot lane to safety. Power of Evil finds the first kill. Shockwave will miss, but who cares? They survived the engage. They saw him, and the 2 got out. Now the turrets are going to fall. Now they can push to the bottom lane. Supers flooding in from top soon as well. Double inhib is down, and the mid wave has been set up by Spica. So here comes TSM to get more done. Oh, the push coming across though, no. Knocked back by Spica's ulti, no Mega Gnar gonna be found. And now it's Perkz finding his way out of Sword Art. They got a pick. They might get PoE as well, and they do. I don't know how they found it, but they did. Cloud9 will not say die.
Oh, they find the pick. They tried to push in mid and go for the triple and hit play, but they got split up. And as they go over towards mid, Perkz and Blabber find the 2v2 in their favor. The flashes being forced by Vulcan end up coming up huge there as Power of Evil is locked down, a 1K shutdown given over there to Blabber. Perkz strong himself at this point. That was such a good double flash, though, from TSM. They turn, they get the initial kill. The Shockwave just barely not catching Blabber. The tail end of it not able to come through. And then it's about TSM moving for more. Sword Art heads up towards mid lane. They try to get even more there. Vulcan getting chunked out. The Elder is going to spawn again. Cloud9 getting chunked
don't have a bot
out.
lane anymore. Vulcan's going to be okay, and Sven can try to lifesteal the cube, but he'll still be stuck around half HP at the end of this all. And that's going to make it a little bit tough to deal with. Nice couple of snipes come through for Lost. And again, as you mentioned, Elder Dragon's up in 12. Up 1 inhibitor. Top lane will keep the push going, but they're going to respawn soon. So I think this is the last wave of supers coming out of the base.
Bot lane pushing, though, for Cloud9 pretty heavily. It looks like there's 2 supers stacked down there. We'll see if they can actually get that wave fully going in their direction. Vulcan, though, he's been spotted, and now he's got to go on the run here. He's got to use the ult and retreat.
Yep.
Even if he gets out, that's so tough because now you're missing your key engage tool.
He's headed towards mid. They wanted to cut off Vulcan. Do they do so? Exhaust is on, but Huni may have already burned his first stun. He's burned all the fury, and Vulcan does stay alive after burning Exhaust, and his flash was already down anyway. So now we have the Elder Dragon fight. Sven at 2/3. Vulcan below half HP. Fudge Mininar has to respect this one now as well. TSM, can they find the battle, or will it be Cloud9? They fought so well and so scrappily to come back into this one. TSM health bars will be pretty good as they get the sort of diminutive Ocean Soul regen while hitting non-champions. They're going to be somewhat topped off here. It's still up to Sven to land that poke. So far missing a few of these Qs. And here comes Realm Warp bringing in 2. Fudge and Perkz. Fudge nearly Mega Gnar jumped upon, though. He will transform. He will find a fight. He can get the ulti. It's going to be a dunk out of the jungler. They're looking to kill him off, and they will indeed pop the Guardian Angel. Sword Art very low, and he's going to die. Cloud9 1 for 0 so far. Perkz wants the next, but Spica's going to be out of range. Fudge able to recall. Cloud9 again able to win the team fights.
Yeah, but their base is in some trouble. They're actually basing both their soul laners. They're going to double TP. Do they have a flanking ward here to try to go for a play? They could come from the bot side behind them.
Their base! It's in the base! There's one going into TSM's base right now. They got to send them back right now, and that means, I mean, we saw this in the regular season, and it got turned around. But this means someone has to answer. Perkz hitting the wave, and that means it's a forced recall. They get one back. Renekton's there to defend. But how about the other half? Lost, loses himself and gets the Shockwave bait, and he will lose the Guardian Angel. Spica staying alive right now. Gonna find a little bit of damage here. Jumping away is Blabber. How about the rest of it? Spica's still there. Vulcan jumps in, but Vulcan will fall. Smite fight comes across, claimed by Sven, and a kill coming across as well. Lost, losing his own Guardian Angel, as the base will stay alive, but Sven's gonna find the ulti. Sven's gonna find the shutdown. TSM have only 2 left alive, but Perkz has no HP.
They can keep pushing. Cloud9 have 3 members here healthy. They're pushing with the Elder. 45 seconds on Power of Evil, 45 on Lost. Cloud9 looking for the win.
Wait for 30 seconds. Can TSM do it? Pantheon's going to ult
trying to cut the wave.
Knock down the wave, but he can't get all of it. The cannon's still alive. Hootie's going to fall, and Cloud9 magnificent, the heroics of Sven to secure the Elder, and that is game 1-1.
What a series, freak! Cloud9 versus TSM.
How they'll do it here in Champion Select.
I think each of these teams just wants to take Lee Sin as well. It's already won both games, clearly Spica is a beast at it, and I don't think Blabber had the best performance at it, but TSM clearly wants it, and it'll force Cloud9 to ban it on red, which just feels like a ban that isn't necessarily targeting something that is very powerful, but rather something that TSM desperately wants.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I mean, if the Lee Sin gets banned, I actually don't think Pantheon needs to keep getting play here for TSM. I'm not sold on the pick. Like, I think the first game was kind of a disastrous early game from C9, and I think there are many support champions that could have triumphed there. And then the second game, I think he was straight up a liability.
Okay, now hold up.
Yeah.
Crumbs, you just told me something. Well, apparently you just lied to me. You said Cloud9 has got to ban it.
This is a weird read for me for Cloud9. Cloud9 should have known TSM wanted lead.
Yeah, I wonder if this is, okay.
Oh! Snap picks on the Aurelia and the Diana. What do you make of this, Emily?
Well, one thing I wasn't even, I mean, the Aurelia Diana is a shock, but the one thing that I'm curious about is the Ziggs. I'm wondering if this is a Ziggs angle for TSM, only because C9 has, you know, they've talked about it in interviews. Their ban strategy thus far has supported that they really do not want Ziggs coming through. So I'm super curious to see if that comes out for TSM in first rotation, but no, we're just responding with Azir.
So I want TSM to draft Leona. Right? I think this is Sword Art's best champion. I think it gives them a lot more agency at every single point in the game. And I think it gives them engage options that they've been lacking in the last two games.
I think Leona will be fine here. You can peel against the Aurelia, the Diana, great. It's been target banned against Sword Art. But I also am thinking about the Xin ban, and I think this tells me that they wanted to ensure that TSM would first pick the Lee. You ban the other jungler, you make TSM make the choice, you're gonna have to take Lee, and you want a strategy against this. So this is C9's prepped composition against a Lee priority TSM.
All right, so we see the Aurelia picked, and in response, TSM says, sure, let's take both of our solo laners. That feels a little strange to me only because you now give Cloud9 the agency to decide which one of these Aurelia is going to play into and counterpick the other.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you give away Vivarius, which is a hugely important pick for both of these teams. You give away support pick as well. So I like the Camille overall, but I think it's a bit early.
I also want to deviate to a little something that we called out earlier. I didn't think it would be relevant, but it proved to be so. Perks has a different hat. So he started off with a different hat in the first two games. Normally, he had the black Cloud9 hat.
Whoa,
look at that.
He's online.
He swapped back to the hat that has actually got him more wins. The last hat was not it. So I think that this is him warming up now. He's now giving more breathing room to the head.
Where would we be without?
Does he have a higher win rate on this hat? Because he has a 50% win rate on the other one. Yeah, we gotta go check the stats.
You know what? I'm gonna push past this. And get us back to what matters, and that's the champion select at hand. We got Kalista banned by Cloud9. We got the Jace banned for TSM. So it seems to me that they are at least targeting maybe the those one or two specific matchups they don't want the Camille to have.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically saying, like, we are taking, presumably, the matchup top. Which is apparently what Hootie wants with this Camille into the Aurelia. I like the Galio takeaway as well. Galio Camille is just an insanely strong combination. And then I also like C9 taking away the Kalista because it takes some of that prio that they've had bot side in the previous two games from Kalista, and then also the Varus is already picked. So they are going to have to pick something that probably doesn't have as much laning power bot.
Go ahead.
They think this is definitely Perks' Aurelia then.
That's my assumption as well. I mean, just
Yeah.
based on player, you know, I would assume
Fudge
that
is
Perks
good
wants
at
it.
No, I mean, they can flex it. I mean,
No, I know they can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
think
would be operating under the same assumption TSM is though as well. I think the question is whether or not, you know, you convince Cloud9 to take it top by virtue of, you know, of what you've banned.
I mean, I'm thinking about what TSM has gotten already on the blue side draft. They already get their best jungler. They get to take the Azir into mid, which from their assumptions of that this is an Irelia top, they've already countered the top side matchup by picking the Camille, and then they're gonna counter the bottom lane right now. They just see the Cloud9 bot blinded, so I think TSM gets the draft exactly against what Cloud9 is playing, and that's gotta feel really good when you consider that red side is normally the draft that gets all the counter picks.
What an incredible pivot, though, overall for the team comp of TSM in terms of where their power curve is, against game time.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that I agree with Crumbs that TSM is getting the better of the draft here. Like when I think about how these teams want to play early game and the kind of proactivity that you want to see out of them, I think again the Leona is really, really key. I think it was a little bit odd still for Camille to be drafted this early. There's no way Camille was going to get banned. I don't think it's a pick that is typically associated with Huni. But I think that TSM does have good options, particularly when you're running multiple melee and you're running a Braum, so you can proc his passive. But overall, I actually favor the C9 draft.
I see what you're saying when it comes to simply the champions. But when you put the nameplates on the champions, and when you see Spica Lee Sin, this guy's X factor on this champion is so much better than Blabber's in game 2. His Lee Sin, I think, is the difference maker.
If you're looking at the lanes, though, where is he gonna go? He has to go top.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you counter, or you counter gank, which is what he did in the first game, and that was the snowball that won the game.
I'm not convinced even with the nameplates.
You can go mid too. Level 6, you can go mid with the Azir. That's an easy matchup against the Irelia that's trying to dash into melee range.
I think it's pretty easily read. Yeah, I think it's a matter of, C9. It's going to be pretty telegraphed because, as Emily said, like there's not too many places where TSM can go. So I personally favor the C9 draft here.
All right. Well, we know what each of my analysts favor, but at the end of the day, it's up to the players out there on the Rift. We're loading up for Game 3 between TSM and Cloud9. Freak and Azael, hopefully you've had a moment to catch your breath for another wild game of action. Take it away.
Absolutely, Dash. The Doug duo never says die.
It's all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes. All gas. TSM and Cloud9 1-1 in this series. The loser is done. They don't play any more League until the next year. The winner qualifies for the 2021 World Championships. They get a battle against 100 Thieves. They get a chance to win the LCS trophy. For TSM, that would be 8 times, which is absurd. Cloud9, it would be 5.
Which is not absurd. It doesn't get
It's less absurd than TSM, who already have 7.
Only TSM gets an adjective? Talk about bias casters.
Sorry, when you have the most of anyone else in the league, turns out you get the superfluous adjectives.
All right, well, it's something to aspire to for everyone.
Yeah.
That's the real reason
Win more
to try
than
to
everyone
win more
else.
titles. So
That's
Freak
aspirational.
will give you a fancy adjective there.
Yeah.
All right, top lane here, going to be interesting. Oh, wow.
This is fun.
That is actually, I love that. I love that. We'll see how much damage he takes on the way out.
Grasp, though. Fudge, I think, might have won the game.
I think he did. I think he got too much on the return. I think Huni actually stayed for 1 auto too much.
Yeah.
If you hookshot in, you go like 1 auto and then back out. But he wanted to get use out of his passive. Either way, Huni's showcasing how he wants to play it, right? He wants to play it aggressively. That is how you win this matchup if you do. I tend to think that the 1v1 is somewhat like slightly Gnar favored, especially in the early stages. But what you have to really be worried about is post 6, Camille ults you, Lee Sin shows up, you're stuck in mini Gnar. That is where things go bad. The gank assist, the gank setup is just so damn good from Camille. So, not able to sidestep that. That is going to be a really good trade.
And misses the boomerang, so yeah, really nicely done by Huni. Obviously, the adaptive shield blocks any early autos, and it feels pretty good. Botlane is fighting back and forth as Vulcan trades Aftershock. I'm not sure if he actually... No, he did not proc Guardian. So one thing about botlane trading patterns, if I recall correctly, is Aftershock's cooldown is like 1/3 that of Guardians in the early game. So you can ever trade Keystone for Keystone, because the cooldown is like 25 to like 80. It's like really severe. So you can like take one of those trades, trade Keystones, and then just take the next fight, next wave, and you're up a Keystone. That's a very big deal for the 2-on-2.
Yeah, these little interactions can mean a lot for sure. Leona, we're talking about a little bit in the draft, picking it there instead of trying to pick later for the 2v2 win. It just seemed like a takeaway from Sword Art because it has been his kind of most consistent champ, the champ he almost always looks to. And this is going to be an exciting one. It's a very different draft than the previous games. Clearly, Cloud9 knew that TSM would be going towards Lee Sin. They wanted to ensure it with the Xin Zhao ban. So to me, that's just Blabber saying, hey, I would rather play Diana against Lee Sin than against Xin if I don't think that I can make that matchup happen. No wards for Huni, though. If he hookshots aggressively, especially, he could be in trouble. But he's playing it passively enough that it seems like he will be fine. Lee Sin spotted, though, and if Aurelia can't move, you don't win this 1v1. So Perkz is going to come up, and they're going to try to play around this. But I mean, this could be a 3v3 potentially. Oh, nice dodge.
Dodge the hook shot. Both have smite, by the way, for this battle. There's the heal first coming into Blabber, and not going to see the rest of the fight come across because PoE is now here as well. Lethal tempo on. Soldiers getting several hundred damage as a smite second comes through for Spica, healing him back up. Taking the camp. Do you take the 3-on-3? No, he's going to take it. Flash them into the team, but it's going to be enough. First blood in for Huni. Looking for the second now as well. Flash to safety. Stun's going to land, and Huni will get traded. Perkz now back on the board. Buff transfer complete.
Yeah, Perkz is going to end up with the double buffs there. I have to see how the top lane wave was, because anytime you're roaming away from that, it's actually a good wave for Huni. It's going to be pushing in towards him. That's why Perkz is staying up here. If Huni goes aggressive, there is a chance to try to kill him off. Fudge is trying to bait. They're going to go in.
Meganar! Oh, he doesn't have the Fury as the W lands. It's now up to Perkz. Can he make it happen? Gets the first Q reset. Takes a second, going for the auto tech, but he has no spells left. This can't be the kill. Huni solo kills his lane opponent.
Yeah, they overplayed the bait, but Spica's in trouble.
Spica's one hit from dead, but the stun's going to land. Blabber needs to catch the next Q, but then Ward Up gets him out of range. And now PoE is going to trade back, so TSM again getting more than they lost 2-1, but trying again for the top lane dive. No, PoE going to teleport to control it. And Huni's like, it's not enough, jump back to the wave.
Man, what an explosive start to this game. I like the attempted debate there from Fudge and Perkz, but Fudge was so low, and it was just kind of overplaying the bait there, you know, trying to be such a juicy target that he made himself a little bit too juicy and does end up going down. And because he was still so healthy, Perkz couldn't actually get the trade kill. I mean, had you pulled that off and killed Huni off right after the TP, that would have been enormous. But instead, it is this scuffle up on the top side, and so much of it was decided by the earlier roam from Huni. He had the push from top side. He's there a lot faster. Blabber, nice play. Will actually dash out of that. But
again, Lost has flash, Lost has cleanse, has to burn the former. Staying alive. Thankfully, he is Ezreal. Of course, we knew Arcane Shape is down. Still 20 seconds on that cooldown, so good punish by Vulcan. Looks like he had flashed to catch him and makes that a cooldown trade. But with Hex Flash, you take that trade almost every time.
Yeah, and Zven not going for the early tier, which is a little bit atypical, so more towards the laning power. Wants the extra AD, wants the extra CDR here, grabs the call fields. Huni's overextended, but with Spica behind him, they're just going to reset the wave. So he's trading his health out to push this in. And it's a serious experience advantage, plus gold advantage on the side of Huni. So Fudge is in for a rough game. Blabber will try to take this opportunity to grab a dragon for himself, but it's a good cover there from Spica. Right. Because if you get stuck in that long lane as the Camille, that's where the matchup could start turning.
But even though there is that XP advantage, and it certainly is relevant, as Fudge does pull the attention, Cloud9 get the cross-map play. So for the first time all series, it is Cloud9 who get first Drake. Every single time we have had very early dragons. All of them have been before the Rift Herald to spawn. This is somewhat atypical.
Oh, this is looking risky.
Okay, they're going to find a slow on the Blabber. He's going to smite for health, going to walk away, and it's going to be enough to stay alive, I believe. Next Sword Art Q's going to walk in for the autos to find the stun. That Q will stun, and it's going to be a setup now. Is it going to be enough for the Vulcan? He's out of cooldowns, yeah. No way out, no flash, no way to walk, and he's going to drop 3-1 TSM.
Just a really nice match on the roam from Sword Art. He reads where they're going to go on the play, is there to defend the Raptors, buys the time for the rest of the TSM members to come in there, and it's a good punish from Sword Art. You know, Braum not known as a strong roaming champion, but see if he wants to go on this. He waits for the passive to expire, then going forward.
Oh, they're going to find a slow. Is it enough? Fudge, as he builds the Fury, can go to level 6. Meganar.
Oh.
Perkz just whiffs the ulti. Huni getting a little bit low, has an ult to drop some cooldowns. Fudge has the ability to transform. They're going to drop aggro, let it cool down.
Ooh, he's going to be here.
And then try again. Meganar's swoop comes in, but it's not going to be enough damage. And Perkz dropping aggro. Fudge will die. Blabber waiting around, but that tower dive does not work. PoE roams and shuts it down.
Poorly played by the C9 side there. If you're going to commit to that, Perkz needed to use Flash Ulti a lot earlier before Huni actually gets back to the tower. If you connect on the Flash Ulti while he's retreating through the jungle, you get him so softened up that there's not much outplaying the dive. Instead, they really slow played it and end up buying time for Power of Evil to arrive. Huni is going to be out of control here. 3 kills already for the Camille on the top side.
That's going to be a bit of a snowball here, so we can watch this fight yet again. Yeah, lands a stun, cool. Auto Q, no problem.
So he wants to wait for the hook shot, right? But now you just ult flash. You ult flash right there. Instead, he holds it. He tries to save the flash. Instead, he's not able to connect it. So he misses the Q reset. Fudge pulls aggro pretty early. That initial play was well played by Huni. But I think they just don't have the read that Power of Evil is actually going to be here. And Fudge tries to scoop him off the tower, ends up going down for his troubles. And misplay there from Cloud9 on the top side. And it's a pretty costly one. TSM running away with it up on that top lane. Huni's just going to be such a threat because the later the game goes, the better it gets for Camille as you get more CDRs, you get more levels, you do outscale than are in the 1v1 and become such a huge threat in that side lane.
You can see Lost willing to play aggressively, knows he has the cleanse and knows, honestly, my support's here. You're not going to go underneath Vulcan, indeed he doesn't. Well, they don't want to fight through a minion wave, of course. A little bit of poke comes out as Sven. Does now have his tier, as you had mentioned. He slowed it down to get a slightly better power spike with the Caulfield's Warhammer first. Totally, defensible and understandable option. He's never going to be late to his Muramana, so I'm generally a fan of not rushing tier if you don't have to, especially when you are going to complete a different item first. So I think that's actually proper building, cool to see. And now, Spica with infinite control over the top side of the map is going to have no problems at all taking the Rift Herald.
Yep. Perk's a bit ahead in farm, so that is kind of nice for him. Fudge just using the ulti there to clear out the wave because he knows Rift Herald just went down, so he could be getting dove. And that's why he just expends the ultimate, tries to clear it out, and then he's going to have to back off. We know that Spica isn't going there, but he doesn't know. So he doesn't actually get the luxury of staying around. And now with Spica showing mid, he will go back top, try to collect as much as he can. But a lot of damage going to be done to this tower. One plate already down, so we know at least 3 will fall. They get a lot of damage in, and it's going to be more gold in the pocket of Power of Evil and Spica.
It is a pretty early summon. They didn't seem like they actually wanted to maximize turret gold because you summon it a bit later. You spend the entire time knocking it down. Like, they could have stayed and autoed for several hundred more damage. It's like, no. We want to get it out. We want a power spike soon, but they don't even roam. I think they're maybe looking for a top lane play, right? But, they do like an early summon. They get out the turret, but they don't actually dive top. It's just, that could have been more gold. I think they may be looking for the option, couldn't find it, whatever. It's a very small point, but not maximizing in that exact case, TSM. PUE will last it under turret.
I think it's just a tempo play. Spica has been all about proactivity, about making plays, about spending, not a lot of time hanging around the lanes, but when he shows up, he makes a play. So I think really he's saying, all right, Perks isn't mid. We'll drop the Herald, we'll get some gold, I'll get back to farming. He checked the Raptors, those weren't up, so back to farming inside of the map. And I think he's just trying to stay super efficient here, stay up on farm, ahead of Blabber. You can see he's quite a few camps up, has had more of an impact on the lanes as well, and things looking good for TSM. Perks is kind of the sole advantage they have there, and it's not even going to be much of an advantage because of the plates. It might even be even there as far as the gold does go. And we'll see if Perks can make anything happen because you want to be playing aggressively as this C9 comp. I think it's going to be so difficult in later stages of the game to play into Braum, Ezreal, Azir as this very heavily dive comp. You have 4 melee champions. You're going to be fighting through Braum wall, through Azir wall, through the Braum wall, and that is so tough if you're not playing with a massive gold advantage or finding flanks from many angles.
Well, right now the angle is Dragon. Teleport is up for both top laners. Looks like Fudge is almost taking a recall, but not quite able to do so. FTX gold advantage, 1,200, 1,300 at TSM. First Dragon went Cloud9's way. Second Dragon going their way as well. They have, for the most part, had bot control. And I want to point out, there is a very large CS lead down in the bottom side, 27 if my math is right. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, all the action has been on the top side, but to your point, they are slowly winning in that 2v2. Looking good there, and they're the ones playing the aggressive side of the matchup now. It was Sven having to sit back, lose farm on the Ezreal, but he was not down this far. Spica now proxying out this wave, getting tons of plates off this top side. Huni is just getting so rich. It's been all about playing through top. I mean, just look at the enormous disadvantage that Fudge has. 1,700 gold, plus a significant amount of experience. Huni's almost level 10. Fudge is still 8. I'm not sure how far he has to go to get 9, but down a lot. And they're even waiting here for the long con, trying to find the pick. As Fudge pushes out, if he goes up too far, he could just be dying.
Yeah, well, gets the CS under the turret at the very least. Sven left a little on the bottom lane. Gonna have no problems there. Vulcan nearby. They spot him. The flash not gonna bring him very far. They're gonna find the stun. They're gonna find a teleport coming across for both. So 3-on-3 coming across the top lane. Huni dropped dangerously low. Ult comes across and he's got nowhere out. Yes, walked into the swords and falls. Perks able to get a kill back on the board.
And that shutdown was so big. There was a nice kick from Spica to try to buy time, but with the Vanguard's Edge. With that ulti behind you, you can't walk through it. You take the damage, so he had no way out. And they do get the counterplay. Vulcan so quick on the ulti to actually peel for Fudge there, and Fudge with the early Bramble Vest gives him some chance of surviving through that. Perk's TP was very fast, so was PoE's, but they had the extra damage. They get the shutdown, and now it's an early Blade of the Ruined King completion here for Aurelia, and you can start to go wild. I'm going to be interested. Will they move the Aurelia out to match the Camille or keep their current lane assignments?
Well, looking at it again, they're fighting over the Raptors in the top side of middle, and looks like Blaber's going to get the better end of it. He gets most of the minions. He's going to be okay. Looking at a fight now in mid lane. Backflip goes on a Vulcan. He's got to be careful. They're going to find the stun. Huni again forced to run. Good hook shot. Gets him away.
Yeah, going to be able to dodge out on Blabber's ult. Blabber trying to pull him out, but Huni had the buffer there, is able to hook shot to safety, and it's Power of Evil pushing up here against Fudge. I mean, Fudge, yes, he's out of the Camille matchup, but this one's probably even less fun. Has the early Bramble. That's not going to help you against Azir.
Nope, they don't apply on hit effects. They don't count as an auto attack. You get nothing out of Bramble whatsoever against literally all of Azir's kit. It does absolutely nothing unless he raw auto attacks, which he shouldn't be doing. 3v2 in the bottom river. Teleport coming across to defend it again as that's Fudge joining up. Mini Gnar walks fast, not going to matter. Top lane outer turret falls. First one of the game goes to Power of Evil after, I believe, 4 turret plates were claimed. Across that one, 3 in mid as well at least. 2 in bot lane, but TSM, you can see, still 1,500 gold ahead. They're looking really good right now. Next dragon goes up in 2 minutes. Cloud9, to their credit, have gotten the first 2.
Yeah.
That's helping it.
This one has been the trade, right? It's been bot side priority for top side priority. TSM collecting plates, C9 collecting dragons, and then that adds pressure to make good on that by getting the soul, because the individual dragons are just not worth nearly as much as the completed soul itself. So that is going to be their goal, and the question will be, are these soul laners for TSM powered up enough that they can contest and stop that snowball towards an Infernal Soul, which is going to be very high priority for this team that Cloud9 has drafted, where they have a lot of dive and they want to get over that critical mass where you can 100-0 people, burst them down on that initial engage, because if you can't make that happen, it's just going to be a nightmare against Azir and Braum with 4 melee. Oh, nice dodge.
Mid lane, not going to find the ulti, but Perks is still left a little bit alone. 2 versus 3 comes back around, but the healing is never going to be enough. They shut him down in the 3v1, and Sven just has to walk away. Sonic Wave nearly landed. That wouldn't have been a kick flash. They were both on cooldown. Wouldn't have taken it, but his mid is under fire. The best they can do is wave clear Cloud9. We'll keep that turret alive. Dragon's up in 1 minute. Perks is out of every cooldown.
Yeah, no TP to join, but he will have enough time to run out of base. We'll see if the ulti is going to be up by then, because it's still quite a bit of time here remaining. Does mean, though, Spica's going to get another Herald. So now you know mid lane tower is basically dead if you actually secure this. It's already very, very low. With Perks dead and no TP, I can't really see them committing to trying to get a steal. So it should be TSM with the shutdown, TSM with the Herald, extending the gold advantage even further.
And as Herald drops, they got 25 seconds to walk the rest of the way over. Gonna save his smite, must not have a second charge available. You can see it's actually 2/3 the way till his next one. Grabs it. Able to easily walk down there. And with the 2,000 gold lead, they should generally have the power to make this theirs. Divine Sunderer done for the Camille. Of course, we know the Gore Drinker's done as well. Will it be a summon for mid, or will it just be some auto attacks? Looks like they are. Whoops, that's a turret shot. And they're going to try to knock it down with just Power of Evil's auto attacks, and Speak is the same. Yes, they will kill it. And as he's still in combat, can't summon just yet. Time to walk towards Dragon.
Now, I wonder if they actually drop it for pressure around this Dragon here. TSM is starting it up. Cloud9 are in the area. They've been working towards the soul. They want to keep snowballing.
Be careful. They know Nara's taking the wave right above them, and he's going to be mega very soon. They can track that somewhat. Fudge is going to be a factor in this one. Full bar, ready to go. That ulti can be lethal. TSM missing 2 of their ultimates right now. That's definitely going to matter. Lost hits 3 with True Shot Barrage. Smite fight coming in soon. Who's it gonna be? Diana or Lee Sin? It's Diana. 3 Dragons of Cloud9. Perks on the side up against Huni, but Huni's winning this battle. A little bit more damage. Diana comes across. It's gonna be 1-0, and so far it's okay. Blabber forced a stopwatch. Huni running away under his turret, but the turret's not there anymore.
Yeah, Perks is going to die. They're going in for more.
They find the Q, they find a scoop, and it's just set right up. It's going to be a second. TSM may lose the Dragon, but they're going to get 3 kills.
They're going to get so much more. I think they're going to get 2 towers. They have the Herald here with a 5-on-2. You get both the Tier 1 and the Tier 2. This is going to be 5K plus on the FTX Gold advantage at the end of this play. And Sven You're dead as well.
Oh, Spica got the kill. Spica takes the Sonic Wave, the Resonating Strike, and solos out Sven. 9-2 on the scoreboard. This turret's gone. 4-1 in that score as well.
Man, it really, Perkz just overextending and trying to get out. Nice
Oh no, they
backstep.
shouldn't have burned those cooldowns. Vulcan could die for this one. Why are you walking up to a tier 2 where your turret's already dead? It's one kill picked up. The counter punch, not too bad. Knocks down the Camille. Spica on the front line has to be respectful, down below 1K. Cloud9, oh, does Perkz try? Without an ulti, it's not gonna happen. 1 for 1.
Going to be able to back off. They do at least get the shutdown onto Fudge, so getting some gold for him. But Huni has been so accelerated in this game. Up to 7 kills. They're GP.
Oh, wow. Okay, Cloud9. Again, they have been so aggressive in this series. Even when they're down in gold, they've often found some good fights. That's a stun's going to land on a lost. He might be stunned, but it won't matter. Perkz is on for kill number 3. Forget I ever doubted him. Cloud9 are good at finding these.
Good plays here. Cloud9 are playing comp where you have to go aggressive, right? And you can't get gun shy because you've had some misplays. Perkz and Cloud9 overextended to try to kill Huni around the dragon, got punished for it, but they were trying to get back the maximum after that misplay. Not getting shy, not getting complacent here. But on the initial play, I mean, you were just chunked down so low that unless everyone is hard committing instantly to Huni at the same time, you're never going to win this as Perkz, right? This is a Huni who's very, very fed, and Perkz is taking the fight from about 40% HP. So Huni's able to get the initial kill, ult onto Blabber, force out the stopwatch, back it up, and because everyone is coming in here faster for TSM, the flash ulti from Power of Evil, anticipating the flashes in retreat, was just beautiful. They got so much off of that.
Still, 4.3 thousand. The FTX gold advantage for TSM. PoE has been outstanding, but they are staring down the barrel of Infernal Soul, and that's going to flip the script if it happens. That's going to be, I think, a really good equalizer here for Cloud9 if they can make it go through. TSM have been winning fights, but Cloud9 have been punching.
I think one of the most difficult parts here is so much of their advantage, is in the bot lane. They kind of prioritize playing around that. But how can Sven effectively get out his damage and stay safe against the super fed Camille, Lee Sin, against the Azir? Like, that is very, very difficult, and I think that's going to be their struggle, is when you show up to these dragons, if you can find the flank angle, it's going to be really tough for Cloud9 to keep him safe. So it's going to be up to those X Factors about the engage, finding that perfect ultimate from Diana, finding the Meganar from Fudge, because in that straight front-to-back fight, you lose, and also if Camille gets the perfect flank onto your AD carry, you also lose.
Watch for him. I mean, I will say Sven's positioning is usually quite good. His one death was, I guess to be fair, getting caught out in the jungle, but he's not the one dying in the fights. He's often very good at playing far away. Serylda's Grudge now done. The Muramana is, I believe, 57 mana away, so, you know, just under 20 auto attacks after the cooldown. Not going to be too horrible to get that one, and that'll be a power spike, and it will be, I think, just in time for the Infernal Soul battle. So watch for Sven. He's got his flash up as well. Could be reasonable. That's a good 2-item power spike to be on. By comparison, of course, Lost down in gold might not be able to hit his Muramana in time. Divine Sunder, the more defensive option, though he's not going to be frequently the target.
Yeah. We can see Blabber also completed his 2 items, has the Zonias. That's really big because he used the stopwatch in that last play. Completing the Zonias, a very big deal here. Perkz trying to push in, but I think they're just going to back off this. They want to pressure that top lane tier 1, try to get some more gold here. But I wonder if they're just going to trade for gold and say, no, we're not actually going to fight. With them on the top side, Perkz has no TP. I think they're not going for Dragon, which I do find a bit surprising. But I think the read is we lose the fight, so they're not going to take the fight. They're going to instead just utilize the pressure that they have around Soul to collect gold on the top side and hope that they can find a better angle later on.
Here we go. 8 seconds. Right now, it is all mid-control for TSM. Cloud9 may not get that angle. They are overloading the top side, so they're going to give this one up and then say, hey, look, we'll make this trade again in 5 minutes. A Dragon in stats, I want to say it's about 400 gold. That is generally going to be an accurate statement there. Obviously, a champion like Braum gets nothing at all. And, you know, Huni, Spica, and Power of Evil and Lost, they actually get more or less full value, and that's why you kind of ballpark it around there. Top lane outer turret dies. Yeah, sorry, your recall's not going to get, you know, much for you there.
Oh, they're going to go for the chase down. They can get caught. There's no tier 1 here. Nope. Okay, they're not going to go for the chase.
And so, okay, you can, you know, pretend the gold lead moves by that number here, but again, in 4 minutes' time, the next Dragon map trade could happen, and you know, for comparison, a turret is worth 500 gold, so in a lot of cases, turret for Drake is good unless it turns into Soul.
Yeah, and TSM was up 5K thereabouts earlier. It is now a 3.4K advantage, so slightly closing. A lot of members up on this top side, and if a fight breaks out here, it can mean a lot. These risky moves can decide games. If you die post 20 minutes here on the top side, Azir can absolutely move towards Baron, can absolutely threaten that. It's going to make things tough as Spica trying to shadow Power of Evil, make sure that he's safe, pushing out the waves, they're checking all the brushes.
And they did not quite see the recall come through from Perks. He was just in Flag of War. You could see a couple of brush checks come through for PoE as Spica was controlling around him. And no, Baron is the look. Vulcan going to put a control ward down. Knows, okay, they're not on it just yet. Uh-oh, I got to get away. We can see that 3 are coming towards me. I got to walk away, and that means TSM get to own this jungle. They put the deep wards in. They get rid of the control wards, and Cloud9 playing with just Fog of War again.
It would be interesting to see if kind of the inverse situation of the previous game happens where TSM tries to force Baron if Cloud9 move towards Dragon. And you would be giving up a lot to do that, but they have a legitimate threat of just bursting it down. Azir is so high damage, and Cloud9 are trying desperately to maintain vision in this area, but that is the last pink there for Vulcan, so it gets tough. You've got to be able to move forward into the river to clear out those pinks in the pit if you want to be able to maintain vision, and so far they have not been able to, and Huni is using this time to shove in the bot lane. He is still very far ahead in the 1v1. He's pressing in and now taking away some of these jungle camps.
All right, Sword Art towards the front line. Are they going to find any damage? Spica wants in. Smite comes through to Blabber. Vulcan on the front has to be careful. 1K health, finds the flash stun, has to get out now as well. Has the other side of the map. It's going to be 1 for nothing so far. Good kill in for Lost. Now on the bottom side, look for Blabber. Blabber's going to pop a stopwatch. Perks down as well. TSM 2-0 in the fight. Looking to go 2-1 in the series, and Blabber's going to walk away. 3 stay alive for Cloud9. They keep the jungler, but they don't have the chance to fight. TSM can and will turn for Baron.
Yeah, this Baron is going to be there, so I don't see how Blabber can prevent this. Just knock down the blast plant there. Blabber has no flash. So unlikely for him to be able to even get in range. It's just dying way too quick. TSM find the flank. They find the engage. Oh. They get the kills. They get the Baron, and they're even going to try to go for more.
They won't get anything special there as Blabber smites the big Krug. But yeah, the chance, right? PoE had flash, had his ult, could always go for a scoop. But no, not going to have that one happen right now. So the Baron buff is on 245, well in time for the next Dragon of the game. And let's see what they can even get, because TSM already got 4 turret kills. Replay again.
Yep, it's just about the wraparound here. Spica finds the angle here from behind. Huni coming up from the bot lane, had pressure bot, has the flank as well, gets in onto Blabber. Blabber's forced to use his ulti on the one member, but Sword Art has the exhaust on it. Blabber's ultimate was completely useless. And on the top side of that fight, Spica, Power of Evil, they chase down Vulcan, they chase down Perks, they kill them both off. So neutralized on the bottom side, killed off on the top side. Cloud9, their options are closing very fast. They do not win in sides this game. They do not win in 5v5 without some sort of a miracle engage. And TSM are looking to put themselves to match point. We'll see if they can keep Cloud9 away from that soul, which would be one of the few ways potentially back in for Cloud9.
We know. Oh, he sidesteps it. Perks doesn't have an ultimate for this fight. This looks pretty easy for Huni. Takes the first backflip, waiting for his cooldowns again. The Ruin King heal might not be enough. He gets a stun, gets second Q, and it doesn't matter. Huni comes out of that fight 1v1 at half health.
Yeah, he's making it look easy. Didn't even use the ulti. Didn't need it, and he knew it, so he's going to save that for something more important here. Fudge trying to threaten with the Meganar, but you can just back up. He's getting whittled down. It's going to expire, so now the threat of the engage is no longer there. Perks is down. You're pushing all 3 lanes. It is time for a TSM to get paid. Collecting these towers, extending the gold lead, and then moving back to take another dragon for themselves.
Well, mid lane turret dangerously low. Won't quite die, but it's soon. Top lane has been shepherded in. Hui's going to knock that one down. That'll be 6 turrets. All the ones outside the base are going to be gone. Dragon has now spawned as well. Azir is already there. They're going to leave Spica as a more mobile and more engaged focused member of the team. Huni indeed gets the top turret. At the same time, the Dragon falls. TSM controlling so many of the cards. They're still not yet to Dragon's Soul, but they've prevented Cloud9 from getting there, and they've just kept the gold lead growing. The Red Bull Baron power play, 3,500 and a Dragon. Soon to add probably 500 more if the inhibitor turret falls. FTX gold advantage, 8,000.
I mean, it's just absolutely out of control. There's so many luxury items as well. You know, 3 stopwatches across the board. You have the locket, you have the exhaust, all of these tools to actually shut down the potential of C9 to get that burst, to get that under 0 that they are completely dependent upon at this point in the game to get a win, and they just haven't been able to execute in these skirmishes. There's too many missed skill shots. There's too many failed engages from Cloud9, where TSM are playing perfectly around these sidestepping abilities, disengaging, playing it slow, playing to their win conditions. And now it feels like they've just built such a big advantage that it's almost impossible for Cloud9 to really come back from here.
And he's going to walk away cleanly. Okay, take your resets pretty soon. Get the jungle on the way out. Blabber can't find it. Look to the rocket belt. Nope, no targets. Okay, out we go. Yeah, cool. Money inventory's got to be a lot. Yeah. They have gotten several turrets. There you go. Over 1,000 apiece. Some well over 2K. 3,000 for Huni. All right, great. You know, the gold lead in inventory, it was only, you know, 2,000. Now they've actually cashed in with everything the items come across.
Hoody's 4,000 gold ahead of Fudge.
Yeah.
That is just disgusting. The pressure towards top lane worked out so well for TSM this game. Not only does he complete the Sterix, he gets major pieces towards his GA. That is so frightening. Everyone has a stopwatch available except for Power of Evil. And he got the death cap. He has the damage there to follow up on any sort of play they make. TSM just got to keep things rolling.
Q's going to spot. Okay, jump on him. Instantly Arcane Shift out. And Blabber at half health. He's going to get True Shot barraged. Won't die, but is going to be in danger. Here comes the rest of the squad. Lee Sin's come in. Going to find not much of a stun. There's the ulti across. Blabber ults, but it's not going to matter. Stopwatch buys the time, but it's still going to be Vulcan drop in and out. The rest of the kills are coming through. TSM already with 3. Looking at Fudge now for number 4. Looking tasty. Finds himself a couple of stuns, but it's not going to matter. They're still on the chase. The ulti will not save him. TSM are insatiable. A flash follow for Huni. Wants the tower dive. Stopwatch dodges the arrow. Lost flies in as well. And it's time to take out the base. There we go. Huni gets himself the ace. And it's TSM who are going to get themselves the base. It's going to be 2-1 in the series right now. This turret's going to fall, and the base is going to come along with it.
TSM dominating here in Game 3, putting themselves to match point. And Hoody, what a carry performance. 10 kills in the top lane.
As they knock down the rest of it, burn the stopwatch for good measure, add some DPM stats, hit in Vulcan, the Nexus will fall! And TSM are 1 game away from eliminating Cloud9.
Man, Spica has been so good this series. All 3 games has really been impactful in the early stages. This time it was all about top lane.
Cloud9 might just be 40 minutes away from going home for the rest of the year. TSM could cement the fate of their hardest rivals in the LCS, which would punch a ticket to top 3, punch ticket to Worlds, and the chance at their 8th LCS title.
And this would be back-to-back years for Cloud9, winning Spring and then missing out on Worlds, something they were always known for being the best NA team at Worlds, for having that success there. But TSM, obviously a rebuild for themselves, the retirement of Bjergsen, the exit of Doublelift. Bjergsen in his first year as a coach, now trying to lead his team towards Worlds, and has been a resurgence here in this series. They have looked very good.
Yeah.
To see some mix-ups, though, in the draft. First pick, Syndra.
This might not be an interesting story, but it was interesting to me for a while. For the
Thanks for the preface.
I know. For the longest time in the LCS, the winner of Spring could not win in Summer. This was TSM, then Cloud9, then TSM again, then CLG, and then TSM themselves finally broke the curse when they won 3 back-to-back, and then TO followed up with 4. But then it came true again. You won in Spring, you couldn't win in Summer anymore. Cloud9 are looking at, you know, something that they kind of originated to a certain degree when they beat TSM in their first time in the LCS. When they beat them in 2013 Summer, they started that. The winner at the beginning of the year couldn't take it over at the very end. And here TSM on the way to send Cloud9 down again, and the draft has changed. Syndra is the mid lane pick, and TSM still like the Lee Sin.
I wonder if it's just Varus here. Just take that away. Instead, interesting. So with the Orianna already banned out, they want to early pick their mid here. Varus very likely going to go over to Cloud9, though. It has been pretty dominant in bot throughout this series. Both games, when it was played by Lost and when it was played by Sven, it has looked good. It's off the Diana, back to the Xin. The Diana did not really work out here. Instead, it's going to be GP. Very interesting. So blind GP, so they can either answer top now or secure bot lane for themselves. Will there be parity in the draft here?
Yeah, blind top laner. I mean, we have seen Gangplank lose in the early game against Renekton. Might not happen this time around as long as Fudge plays a bit more respect. And no, we get the gauntlet thrown. Jace into Gangplank. The goal is to win the barrel minigame. Now, the thing is, the barrel minigame is not the most important part. It is Gangplank grasp queuing you. That wins all the trades. But other than that, you eventually get to the point where you're going to be very, very rich, and it's much easier to get Jace's damage out than Gangplank's late game.
Yeah. I mean, you make it sound very easy. I do think a lot of it comes down to GP wants quick trades. You want the queue and then back out. Jace wants an extended trade, right? So you're trying to avoid the return fire there from the Jace. If the Jace can get an extended trade, that is where things can really start to go in his favor. And especially as you're building towards the Eclipse, you can start to shrug off a lot of that initial poke from that Q spam. So we'll see how Huni can play this out. This can go very Jace favored if you do get a lead. But likewise, if you fall behind, it's a very snowbally matchup. He can get too much damage on the side of the GP for you to really be able to shrug off, and the AD bans will come through, banning away Varus, knowing that Lost would probably grab it as his next pick. Kalista is the answer because there's not really any hard engage over on the C9 side, so I think they're trying to ban out not only a strong laner here, but something to facilitate what TSM sees Cloud9 missing from their draft. Tristana as well. It feels like maybe they're trying to push him down towards like an Ezreal again or something like that.
One final ban for Cloud9, and maybe one final game for them as well. Can they bring it back and win 2 straight and destroy their rivals in TSM, or is it going to be that top 3 for the gray and white? Ezreal into the list as well, as it's just 80 carry bans on both sides. Supports largely untouched, just the Thresh and Leona off the table.
And really, throughout the split, I mean, Sven didn't play all the games, but he has 5 Varus games, 5 Kalista games. Beyond that, it's just a couple games on each of these different champions. We're looking down to his most played. There's 2 Aphelios. There's a Xayah game in there. I do think Ashe can be strong.
Yeah.
And I actually really like the pick here. I do think, especially when your jungler is playing this well, the Hawkshot becomes that much more valuable. You're working with more information. You're protecting your side laner in the Jace who wants to play this matchup aggressively. So tracking Xin is very valuable. Allows Spica to work with that extra information. Allows Huni to play aggressively when they have him spotted out. Jhin is the answer. I think Jhin is actually pretty good here. It's a largely squishy comp. You could get a tank support for Sword Art. I think Braum would work really well as an answer into the Jhin, so that would be my go-to. But still, largely it's squishy members. You have the ulti dropping from GP, Nautilus to follow it up. GP plus Jhin ult is always a pretty strong combo there, with Xin diving in, with Perks looking to burst someone who's slowed down, who's getting engaged upon. It's going to be a really exciting one here. I do like the draft more from Cloud9 than I have from the previous games. I think last game was much harder to execute than this one. I think that this is a more well-rounded composition, but I have a lot of concerns just based on how the top side of the map has been going this series, right?
Yeah.
Jace versus GP, very snowbally matchup. Lee Sin has been such a big pick for TSM, and if Spica can get Huni rolling, that can look ugly.
Lee Sin is undefeated. That said, Syndra is the most picked mid laner in top regions this patch. She is highly prized, and it's going to be in the hands of Perks trying to turn Cloud9's fates around. Yes, Braum can shield and block some of it, but you're expecting Syndra to have lane priority, to get to those side lanes and turn them around. I agree, historically, TSM has gotten the better of it. And honestly, I absolutely love Huni's Jace split pushing. He's the richest man on the map. He does 1 million damage. He is always a difference maker. He's great on the champion. The question is, can Perks be the one to put him in the dirt with the roams?
And we've just got to honestly see another level come out here from Cloud9. I think across all 3 games, they have been outplayed. In game number 2, they found a fantastic comeback, but TSM even was in a pretty significant advantage in that one. Games 1 and 3 were very TSM favored. Yep. TSM has looked better across the map.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you look at the regular season, Cloud9 was a top 4 early game team. In playoffs, they are bottom 2 above only Dignitas. It has not been a good look for the early game of Cloud9 in the postseason, and time and again, teams have taken it to them. This time around, though, you've got a Syndra, you've got a Jhin, you've got a lot of crowd control hoping to find their action against TSM.
I wonder if Nautilus face checks this. This could actually, okay, he's just getting a deep ward, but Fudge could potentially be in some trouble. We don't actually know where they're wrapping around, but they'll be spotted. So he's going to be okay. But even though the level 1s haven't often actually resulted in anything in this series, I like that teams are trying it. I always do appreciate the level 1 prep going into a playoff series. If you get a first blood at level 1, it is actually such a tilter. Even just forcing a summoner can be such a big deal as far as the mental warfare.
Really minor thing, Fudge saw the Nautilus or the Braum Q fly out. So even though he didn't see a single model, his camera was still panned over, and as soon as we saw that Braum Q, he was like, hey, by the way, someone's there. They invaded, there's stuff going on there. I don't know what it is. I was hiding because I don't want to give up first blood, but something's going over there, just FYI. So this is some information they're going to have, kind of Fudge walking back and forth, doesn't quite know what's going on, you know, kind of juking behind what could be a Braum Q, and it's not going to mean too much just yet. They don't know for sure if it's going to start down there, unless Cloud9 got their own deep ward on the right side.
Nope, I don't think I ever saw Sven move forward. They weren't sure if everyone was there or not. They just knew some people were there, so I think they were kind of nervous to check. I mean, Ashe Braum is such an insane level 1 that it's like you basically can't take a fight against this. It is interesting to see Dark Harvest on Jhin. We haven't seen a lot of Jhin in general, but that is a very atypical rune. You generally just see fleet footwork and those types of things. So interesting to see how it will pan out. If you can trade heavily, if you can get people low, get those procs rolling, it can be very valuable. And of course, we'll see if it's going to be that kind of a scrappy game, but I do really favor the 2v2 on TSM side. I just think Ashe Braum is so tough to deal with. Putting up the wall for the force shot from Jhin negates so much of the burst that is going to come through, and that's something that is always going to be a struggle in this type of lane. If you hook in, they can just actually even turn on the Nautilus, throw up the door. The Ashe focuses the Nautilus, proc the passive from the Braum very quickly with those 3 quick Hail of Blades hits, but that's big.
Yeah,
he can flash auto Q.
Barrel, flash auto. Q will nearly kill. He will not quite burn. Flash for flash. Fudge is going to force an early recall to Huni, and he's got Sin Zhao control. Blabber doing a nice top control path.
Ooh.
Red Raptors Gromp into blue. Make sure you're around in case it's a gank.
So there were 3 extra minions on Huni's side, so he knows the wave is going to push towards him, so he bases to come back for the TP, and they have a wraparound gank here. This is actually so smart. He's baiting them into this.
Blabber, can he get? No, he's too close to the turret. Reads it enough. Huni's able to walk away, use the gate, and get just out.
I feel like Blabber went too early. I think you could have just waited a little bit more. Huni has to reset the wave. So there's no need to press that fast. The wave is pushing away from him. Even if you're just going to get him to like AFK back, well, you're winning out in that regard. Either way, the wave still should be slightly pushing towards him. You have the cannon, you have the extra range minions, so Fudge can continue to just kind of trim this wave so it can't get fully reset and try to hold it on his side. It is interesting because even with that really big first trade, there was no buy for Fudge because he started corrupting, so he went back to basing out a pink ward. That was his buy. They based so early that he did refill the potions, but he could be punished heavily here. Even though he won out in that early scrap, if Spica gets up here and they force his flash or force him back to base, well, getting forced back to base without TP is 10 times as bad.
Well, it's not Huni trying to make it a slow push. He's got to bring his jungler back over, though. Both junglers are here, though. Fudge down to half HP. Lands a Sonic Wave. Not going to be a kill. Fudge actually just spammed his keyboard and controlled his own turret. Now Blabber wants in. Not going to find the damage. Blabber, he's going to fall. He jumped in to die first. Blood goes to Spica.
Of course it is Spica, the absolute king of the jungle in this one. Dominating on the top side. Blabber can't make it happen. Spica shows up top, and where Spica goes, TSM wins. They get the kill. First blood on the Lee Sin here. He has been dominant on the pick and now has a pretty significant advantage here. It's all about the bait from TSM. Both sides tried the same play. It was Fudge trying to set it up there on Huni, but then as he goes in, there's no minions in between him. Right, the safeguard over onto Huni. Does hit the Q. Fudge stays alive with the Q, but there's not enough damage here from Blabber. Blabber's going forward. He doesn't have the red buff. He's not able to actually finish them off. Spica just has the safeguard. Fudge can't follow up. He has no flash to actually get in there. He didn't have barrel charges to actually follow up with that either, so there just wasn't enough damage after the initial spells are used. Blabber's going to run out of gas, and he ends up going down.
The end result, though, is very tight gold. Keep in mind that first blood is 600 with the assist, and yet the FD gold advantage only 108 because laning phases are going well elsewhere. An extra wave for Sven, a bit for Perks, even a little bit on Blabber's side, and obviously that nearly 10 CS lead for Fudge. So don't say die just yet. Perks is going to flash him into the turret, but that damage barely matters. Spica able to force another summoner spell.
Thumbs up. Another gank, another successful one there from Spica. Putting so much pressure on here. Yes, he's down a camp or two, but who cares? He got a kill on top side. He forces a flash out on mid. And these are matchups where it sucks not having that flash available. You know, Perkz wants to posture aggressively, wants to threaten the Azir, try to trade with him, try to get himself into a good spot. But without flash, it's very risky to do so. So Sword Art just showing up mid, allowing PoE to get the push, to get the reset here. And we'll see if he wants to stay around for the full push. He wants to try to deny this recall and punish Perkz, who's missing health.
And they're just going to shove the wave in as fast as possible. You know, use the Braum stack, just spam abilities on the Azir. Perkz is, okay, if you're going to burn cooldowns, then I will take this wave. I don't want to lose an entire one. Obviously, there's no cannon, so I'll lose the entire thing. Don't have TP. Fair enough. Gets most of it.
Spica has been spotted, and Blabber is here. We'll see if he likes his odds.
Blabber knows Spica doesn't know for sure Singe House here.
Yeah, and I don't they know the Sword Art is here now. So now they know all you can do is defend the dive. You can't actually do anything aggressive with Braum showing on that ward. So a good ward from Cloud9. You know, this one right here actually paying a lot of dividends. Catches Spica walking out of the brush. Catches Sword Art moving up towards that side. So just trying to stabilize. Trying to keep Fudge safe. Fudge was winning in the 1v1. He's up farm. He is playing the really powerful scaling pick here in the GP. So they're not in that much trouble. Even Sven going for the call here pretty early. You know, looking to scale up himself. Cloud9 have, I think, a better late game comp than they did last time. There is still a lot of power, you know, in this Braum, Ashe, Azir, that kind of trio in particular, I think, on the TSM side. But I do think that Cloud9 are not just doomed if it's going late.
I agree. They're not doomed, and, you know, the gold lead is nothing much to speak about. Guardian's going to go ahead and block a Jin Q, and they're just going to keep knocking on the waves with dematerializers to keep the waves, you know, somewhat pushed out. They don't want to have to, you know, last hit the entire thing on a turret. It really sucks for Jin to try to do that, so pretty understandable there. And ultimately, Hawkshot comes across, and, you know, Lost wants to know what's going on over there. Not a whole lot. Has the boots, too. Able to dodge away from things like Nautilus. Of course, he ran heal, not cleanse. That's going to help him not get one-shot by a Syndra combo. I would actually expect a Shield Bow Wits End build here for Lost against Syndra and Gangplank ult, and even some Nautilus are pretty meaningful magic damage. Worth noting that even though Braum can block Syndra, Braum cannot block Nautilus ultimate. That one bypasses things like Wind Walls. So, you know, there's always going to be some threat on Lost, even with one of the best defensive supports.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, GP ult gets dropped on your head. They dive in on you. It's difficult to deal with that. I do think that the defensive build really suits Ashe, and that's a champion that I kind of first seen it get really a lot of play with, is that Shield Bow Wits End. You use that to try to stay safe here, and he's got to be careful. One more Q in the ulti from Fudge could be a death. So he's gotta make sure he's not getting poked needlessly, but just trying to spend his health to reset the wave, and will get it into the tower, so should be fine.
Yep, just going to take the last hits, eat some more, and just help keep the health bar at a decent spot. But hey, you know what? Why have one orange when you can have 5? Honey fruit, just it's more health, and it gives you mana instead of costing it. It's just better.
Overpowered.
Yeah, Huni just gets way more fruit.
It's really a citrus gap.
Yeah, true. I know they're honey fruit, but it's fun to call them oranges.
Yeah, they all look kind of similar. Anyway, we
they're green, just like oranges are.
All right, they're little blobs, freak. Okay, let's not get too specific here. Perkz heading back towards mid, got the blue for himself. We'll see what he can get done. Both mid laners obviously playing Comet, playing more towards the laning runes here, looking for the poke, looking for this trading pattern. And it's mostly just been Sword Art out of lane, honestly. You know, it feels like he has been covering mid, moving around towards top very heavily. Vulcan has been more staying in lane on bot side, and it has gotten them tempo, but not much more than that.
Herald play. The dual lane recall out of Cloud9. They've both run up to the mid lane to now play for Rift Herald. 5v4. Lost has shoved in a wave, so that is some gold denied. And now he's on a recall to join his team. Has arrow, can cross map it, but isn't in range to fight. So Cloud9 takes the play 5v4. And even though Fudge is under his turret, of course, has his own global, and as Huni walks up, it looks like it's going to be given over. And that is going to be the case. Rift Herald to be claimed for Cloud9. The cost is 1 minion wave. Not too bad. And they're looking for a bit more. Vulcan would like to catch Huni, but he's not going to go for it. Going to get a root onto the Lee Sin and then just get right back out.
Yep, gets out of there, no problem. It's a good play there from Cloud9. You know, that really is the advantage of Vulcan staying in lane versus Sword Art spending all his time roaming. You know, they got Prio down on the bot side. It didn't really establish itself as a CS advantage, but it got them the Herald, and we'll see where that is going to go, where they want to attack. You know, I would expect, generally you see them going towards things like the Azir, and even pretty smart, just using the TP from Huni, send him down bot, allows Zen to collect this, but they're nervous that they can't even stay around to actually pick it up because Spica is here.
I don't think he wanted that Q. If that lands, I think Vulcan dies. I think he's happy Dredgeline did not land. At the end of the day, they're able to get the wave. They do not lose a second turret plate up top. And TSM, they're recalling on a ward. This can be some level E over the wall. He's going to flash in. Oh, as the rest of the team is gone, Stordart's left alone. A risky recall location is punished. He has flash, he has exhaust. He's going to dodge every single skill shot but one as Perks claims the kill in the end.
Gonna be able to grab that kill. Nicely played. That ward paying dividends, waiting till most of the people did finish the recall. I think they wanted Spica. That was like the big target, but they do end up getting a kill for the flash. Nicely done. Unfortunately, I don't think any Dark Harvest proc actually was grabbed by his Ven because he couldn't hit. He has one stack, so it's something, but not going to be the most there. Does look like he's going towards probably just the Gale Force, have that mobility. And Lost should be going Shield Bow, I'm very much assuming. He hasn't picked up a longsword, so you don't know for sure, but yeah, it's pretty safe to assume.
Just full damage. You know, we're going Kraken Slayer Hurricane. We're just running in there. It's unlikely, but
I respect it.
I wouldn't, actually. I'd be like, I know what you're going for, but I think it's wrong.
I wouldn't think it's good, but I'd respect it.
See, I just don't respect things that are wrong. You know, it's like you got to be right or don't bother. Or at least have some logic behind it, and I don't think there's much for a Kraken Slayer build here. Anyway, easy to collect the waves. Fudge is going what I believe to be the superior build, which is Trinity Force Gangplank, unless you need to be the frontliner. There's the logic of, okay, I must go Divine Thunder Asterix, I must be durable to play frontline, but that is weaker than playing damage Gangplank. Guess what? You've got to Singe out and Nautilus to play frontline. If you're frontlining the GP, you're playing GP wrong. You've got two other meatballs to do that job. Go deal damage, you know, go do an Essence Reaver build or a Trinity Force build and go about that. Go about it that way.
And I think that the hard engage on the side of TSM isn't threatening enough that he feels like he needs that, you know, for them to try to dive onto him. TSM then moving up towards topside. Spica is here again, and oh, nice buffer.
But yeah, so Vulcan with the Merc Treads is able to stretch line out as low. It never even hit him. Nicely done by Vulcan. The first arrow of the game does nothing from Lost.
Those are the plays that look simple, but those are actually like the high-skill Nautilus plays. Yep. Those are one of those things that you can do. And he pretty much makes that ultimate for nothing while his jungler is farming. He would have died there for sure if that connects, and then Spica gets behind him, kicks you in. Trying to go for a scuttle here on the bot side as well. Blabber just been kind of farming his way back in. I think was moving over in case the scatter did actually land onto Power of Evil, but of course it did not, so ends up having to clear the camp twice.
That's fine. You collect your Raptors, you go back for a full clear. Looks like they're not able to go for bottom scuttle as there is bot lane pressure for the Jace. Indeed, Gangplank was on a recall. Trinity Force is in. Again, very much prefer this build. I think it's the correct one in most games for a Gangplank. Not literally all of them, but in most of them. As now the Eclipse is also through for the Jace. And that is, of course, going to be some lifesteal that'll matter a fair bit. Not going to land the first Q. And just going to be Fudge knocking down this wave.
Yep, going to be able to clear this up, trying to farm his passive as much as possible at this point. You can see he's prepping a lot of waves, trying to farm the doubloons, get those upgraded ultis, because the timings on that, we don't really talk about it a lot in Pro anymore because the champion has kind of just been out forever. But getting the good timings on your ulti upgrade can actually be really impactful. Death's Daughter especially, the true damage on that center hit can be really impactful in some of these fights. Just adds so much damage.
Booting on the walk away. Fudge hope he can close the gap for his Q. Doesn't have boots though, and so doesn't have the movement speed quite to catch him. But top lane's under fire. Does not find the second turret plate. However, still is getting some split push pressure. And I got to point out, as much as TSM have been owning the early games, it is Cloud9 firmly ahead in gold in this one. And some of that is Gangplank, but not all. They are directly out-farming and out-killing their opponents.
Yeah, they are playing, I think, a lot better this time around, despite that first blood going over to Spica, despite not being able to make good in this 1v1. Fudge has still been having a great time. You know, he didn't really get punished himself for that play. It was more Blabber that got set back a little bit, and Blabber has been able to farm well. Spica has not been able to find any subsequent plays to actually snowball his advantage. So while they just kind of absorb all these ganks coming through from Spica, Blabber is farming, and it's now Cloud9 moving towards this dragon here. It is a very late first one compared to the rest of the series.
So we heard an ulti come across, I believe, towards the top lane to keep the turret alive, but it might not quite do that. Cannon is still up there, and Lost putting out some decent damage on the Ashe. First dragon of the game is killed much later than the previous. Fudge takes, I believe, 2 turret shots for the aggression. Still is going to push Huni off the turret, make him lose some XP and gold. Demolish is triggered, and now they're going for a little bit more. Smite is going to land for Spica. He has the blue buff. A little bit of poke from Huni, but again, bot lane wave is entirely denied off this aggression.
They are going to lose that top tier 1, and it looks like the race is going to be won by TSM. They will get it just slightly. But still, first turret gold going to them. The solo gold onto Fudge, going to be nice in this winning matchup. They're trying to get him the edge, trying to maintain side lane control. Because no one else from TSM really wants the side lane. Azir does not want to be there. Yes, you can have some roams come through, but generally you're feeling pretty safe, I think, in the side lane as a GP, as long as you are winning that 1v1, given that there's not a lot of hard engage you can't deal with.
Stops the recall real quick, knocks down the waves. Ven's doing pretty well, equals CS across against the Ashe. It is indeed Shield Bow, as that item comes across now for the TSM bot laner, and indeed moving towards the Wit's End. Cool, all right, we called the build. Good job, Azale. We are indeed smart. It's expected anyway, but good to see it all the same. As we push towards the second Herald of the game. The first one is just kind of thrown down in mid lane for 2 turret plates. That money went over to Blabber. Like for the second one now is, well, hold on. TSM are coming over for this one. Level lead for Speaker does not matter for the smites, but it could for the fight. As they put the damage across. No, it will still be secured. 100 gold for the objective, and should finish a turret in one of these side lanes.
Yeah, we'll see where they want to drop it. I'm kind of expecting it maybe towards mid even, but if they want to try to get access to those tier 2s, that's definitely an option as well. And man, farming up Krugs always feels so good on GP. You get so much passive gold off the little Krugs. It's actually pretty insane how much extra gold you do get. So actually, I'm surprised he didn't use another barrel there to pick it up, but maybe he doesn't have any charges.
Yeah, he just got his charge back. He's like, well, I could wait, but I'll just take the bot lane wave with it, so, you know, whatever.
Makes sense if you're going to miss the lane.
Right, so, okay. It's fine, it's whatever. You got there at the end of the day, and we're looking good. Steel caps are in. Keep in mind, that is triple AD for TSM. There is a lot of crowd control, but of course, being Gangplank, he can ignore a lot of it by just eating orange at the right time. So, logical build here as well, especially against his matchup against Jace.
It's kind of interesting, because this is the second game now. They had the Oriented game earlier where they have a ton of AD threat, kind of forcing armor out from your opponents, and then Power of Evil just kind of gets to run rampant, right? He is that big AP threat, but he is a serious AP threat on the Azir. They're going in.
Flash Q's going to land. Power of Evil going to scoot backwards. Will he survive? Also flashes out, jumps back to his minions, and he's going to be okay. Sword on out the front line. Going to stopwatch one of the ultis. In the front line now is Blabber. Tries to stay alive. It's going to be 1 for nothing. He's out of range of Ashe. Finally, the ulti ends, and Lost trades him back. A 1-for-1 teamfight jungler for support. More XP gained by TSM as Cloud9 retreats.
There's that scrap 1-for-1 at the end of the day. The bigger kill for TSM, but they are kind of poked down a little bit more, so we'll see if C9 can get anything off of this. But it's Speak again, just looking aggressively, seeing if he can find any sort of a lazy recall on someone low on health here. And just word over the wall, spot him, no hesitation. Lost immediately flashes, but it means that Power of Evil is the one that's going to take the hit. And there is this kind of combo I was talking about. You drop the GP ult, they're slowed down, they're trying to retreat through that, and Jhin is ulting on you from long range. The rest of the team is piling in, and it does make it very difficult because you can't just camp in the GP ult and take the fight. You've got to be able to get out of that and then turn and fight. And even though it was pretty even, the summoners did go pretty heavily in the favor of Cloud9, so that's something that I hadn't mentioned first time around. Without Flash on Ashe, without Flash on this Azir, they're much more susceptible to that the second time around. Ashe especially, having no dash, it's very difficult to get out of those kind of situations.
Speaker checks a brush, not going to see anyone there. Okay, control ward, and look into the western jungle. He's going to spot Gangplank, but it may not matter. We are 1 minute away from the dragon spawning. Now, Soul is not a likely objective in this game, but dragons are still some free stats for sometimes very low effort. Pee Wee going to look into the bottom lane. Fudge has flash, burns it, tries to get away, but a flash kick into the wall means Speaking can set him up, and they should just have the damage, and they do. In the top lane, a 2v1, TSM knocked down Fudge.
They get the kill. It is the flash off of Speaka, but they're going to push this in. Thankfully for C9, Fudge will be up with teleport prior to the next dragon if they want to keep moving towards that. Yes, it's unlikely they will reach Soul, but you can use that to pressure your opponents to control the pace of the game here. And TSM making a proactive play, finding something for themselves, shutting down Fudge for the first time this game, who has been having a pretty good go of it. Just farming it up. Looks like he's going Ravenous Hydra second, which is a great side lane build. It pretty much just means you don't care at all about any of the poke that's going to come through from Jace. Oh, that's not even going to get a charge.
Wow, not in range for the charge. That's a pretty big deal because that, I believe, would have just about secured the mid turret. It was very close. Depends on what level the Earth Herald actually was. It was a very early second Herald, so it may have been sub 2500, but either way, that turret's like, one hit at worst.
Yeah.
Dragon is alive. That's the important thing to look for as PoE is back on the map. He is walking his way down. Right now, the river belongs to Cloud9, but they haven't started the Dragon just yet. They're taking their time with this one, even though TSM aren't yet around. Now it's going to begin. Blabber mistimes his dash. It won't mean a ton, but, loses half a second. Blue buff now under fire. Nice yoink by Perks. I don't believe they can guarantee it just yet, but they buy a hell of a lot of time. Spike comes in. Nice! That is really good. That is really good. They claim the blue. They're going to try to claim the dragon. They will do so, but the arrow landed onto Perks. The man couldn't flash a 3,000 range skills shot, but a great snipe by Lost all the same. Time to run away is going to be enough. Spica does not have flash, but does he have a ward? No. Nowhere to hop to, so we can't get a backwards kick. Vulcan takes the Q. They cannot kill him at a turret, though. 1 kill picked up, but a blue and an Ocean Drake claimed.
That blue take was hilarious. Dragging all the way to the Dragon Pit so that it can be smited and then just taken down. Fudge not going to be able to get the top lane tower, so they do at least get a TP off Power of Evil. 1 kill for the Dragon I think you're pretty happy about. And I'm not sure if Perks actually, from where he died, had to angle to flash the wall. He could have obviously flashed to the side or something like that to dodge it, but it's always hard to know if you'll get out. Either way, great arrow there from Lost. Gets them the kill. Pee-wee pushing on the top side, but Vulcan and Perks are heading up there to match, so don't think it's going to be safe up here for much longer.
Alrighty, well, looking at a little something here as Vulcan's going to spot Power of Evil. As long as you always have 1 soldier up, there's really no way for Nautilus to surprise kill you, and out you go. Good to see Lord Dominic's over collector for Sven. The basic math works out that across those items, the armor pinch is going to be worth more than the lethality, even with some raw AD, in pretty much all targets. So just kind of mathematically the correct build, unless you are getting the collector execute value, which is hard for someone like Jhin to do. You don't damage very frequently, compared to, say, a Kai'Sa, where it's pretty easy with a Kai'Sa and Rain to hit someone to 5% and be the execute. You know, logically, it makes a lot of sense here for Jhin to be going this way. And now we get to look at the mid lane under fire yet again. 2-0 on Dragons, on pace for about a 31-minute Mountain Soul if possible. It may indeed happen. The gold basically tied, and with the 2 Dragons, maybe a slightly favor Cloud9 here in Game 4. Yeah,
and with the pace of the game, you know, we initially thought, hey, this might not actually go to Soul, but if this pace continues, it could, right? We're now 8 minutes, 9 minutes away, depending on how quickly they kill those Dragons, but C9 looking like they might want to take a fight.
Flashes, look for the Q. Lost going to flash that one again, finds his stun. This is going to be a lot of CC. Gets no ulti across, but they will still knock down the Nautilus. Aftershock or not, doesn't matter. They have the damage to kill him. And now mid lane could be under even more fire, but Cloud9 have the wave clear.
I'd be more worried about them taking even more from this. They're going to lose vision for sure. It won't be any sort of an aggressive early Baron play, because Lyra was still alive, but trade of flashes ends up not being that bad. They're going to try to chase down on Huni. They will force the flash there as well. So Cloud9 actually coming out ahead. Yes, you lose your support, but I think getting the flash off of Lost, getting the flash off of Huni prior to this next Dragon fight is actually more valuable than the couple hundred gold and the flash of Vulcan.
Interesting. We'll see if that happens, of course. He does have Hex Flash, so there is a weak summoner still available to get over walls and maybe surprise with distance. TSM are going to be the ones to own most of the Dragon Pit, or Baron Pit. I do want to point out again, these wards that are not inside the pit are the right ones to put down. You have to put a control ward inside the pit to spot the backside. So that is like the required control ward area. So put your stealth wards in a ring outside of that vision cone, and now your wards stay up, and you can spot people walking into Baron. You prevent the sneak, and you're immune to the default control wards.
Exactly. I mean, this is another good example of warding right here. You know, this ward as well as, oh, well, we're moving. Never mind.
Rip.
My skill shot accuracy there. It's looking bad. It's like me playing Ezreal. It's very similar. So, I mean, those wards, though, it's like you know where they're going to put the pink, so you place your wards out of the vision, right? This ward, they are both around that area. They're covering this section, but without being able to be spotted by the pink. So you're making your opponents then commit a sweeper to also catch those kind of things. So I think it's common play, but it is smart stuff. It's things that you can always use in your own games very easily as well. Sword Art down here to the bot side, trying to get full vision control for Huni. TSM running this side of the map, honestly. You just look at the vision down here. It's all TSM. They're trying to close in and threaten Fudge here, who's without his ulti, but does have a big barrel there on Huni, and no way you're looking for the dive now.
So Ravenous Hydra done. That's a lot of ability haste. Some extra move speed as well, and incredible wave clear. Fudge will have his ulti up almost at all times, coming up in just a couple seconds right now. Ready to play cross map, and honestly, if you can just drain tank against the Jace, right, like he has Eclipse, but you have Ravenous Hydra. You're like full healing off of every wave. Like that, and then you're like, oh, by the way, I have an ulti as global, so I'm holding the side lane, no problem, and I'm better cross map, so, you know, bring it.
I think it's really smart. You know, the one thing where it can kind of get a little bit dicey is if you show up to a 5v5, you are obviously much easier to burst down than if you had Sterix. So that is the trade-off. Their team being in, they want to play for the Dragon. It's not for the flank. It is to get vision, to poke, to control this area. But they're, oh, that was a good sidestep.
Almost catches Spica, not going to do so. But yes, 5v5 for the Dragon. This would be the third for Cloud9, the first of the game for TSM. Going to find some damage on Huni, not much more. There's a pull in on a Sword Art, going to stun him, but not much more. Supports both back off. Arrow's going to go wide
Field
for
goal.
Lost. Here we go. Barrels are up. Going to find damage on the Spica. Not much more just yet. But now Fudge is getting poked, and now he wants to touch that mid lane wave. He can heal up off it if he can get his way over there. Slowed down by a 3-hit volley. Sadly, it is Perks taking the wave. That's maybe a miscommunication, but it still ends in Cloud9 saying, we're going to go mid. We will give you a Dragon. The first Dragon doesn't matter too much. We'll take the turret. Generally going to be worth more that gold than the Mountain stats. But the Soul Thread, of course, is a relevant
TSM could want to fight. They're kind of in an awkward spot here.
Okay, Vulcan dropped the half HP. Ult goes wide. First Order jumps away, stays alive. Here comes the Jin ulti. Yes, they want in. Gangplank ult's going to find 4. Locket buys a lot of time, but Lost. They know he's flashless. You called it, Azael, and we're on to the next one. Spica down to 100 health, and Cloud9 are hungry. They smell blood, and Sven from downtown shoots them to hell.
They could go over towards Baron. Do they want to try this? They are recalling, but it's just on their soul laners, I believe, so they can actually TP back. I think they're going to commit to the Baron here. That was so huge. Capitalizing on the earlier trade of flashes from Vulcan in the mid lane. They kill off Lost. They kill off Spica. Cloud9 looking in control, but Varus and Asir are very strong.
They are,
at defending this.
Lost and Spica can't get here in any reasonable time. It's Smite versus nothing. This should always go to Cloud9. Blabber has Smite. This should always be theirs. It's gonna be smitten. Well done. Now PoE is in the pit. He tried for the miracle play, and he gets a kill, but there is no way out. He denies a Baron buff. The Ash Arrow's gonna just pop that Eternal +1, and out you go.
Nice try, though, from Power of Evil. Actually getting the flash off Perks, getting a kill, not bad in that situation whatsoever, but still, I love the aggressive follow-up there from Cloud9, because in isolation, when you look at plays like that traded flash and death for Vulcan in mid lane, many people will be quick to criticize that. But Cloud9 tracks the summoner, finds the window to capitalize on it, and it's so big to make those sorts of aggressive plays here. It's all about the re-engage as TSM are posturing to try to find a fight. They think that they have a good angle here to get it. As Vulcan goes in, TSM do move forward, but now you are grouping up here in this section. Jin ulti comes through, GP ulti dropped on your head. It's everyone for themselves. Blabber flashes right in on Lost. He can't get out of the GP ulti. He's slowed up because he has no flash of his own. And then this, someone needed to try to block it, but they just weren't aware of the W coming in. It snipes out the jungler, allows them to grab the Baron here. Power of Evil trying to get some heroics, but Blabber is still barely in range to actually smite it. Was a good attempt, because I mean, if you can get him a little bit further, like he gets it midair. If that's a split second earlier, maybe the Baron isn't in range for smite, and that gets really dicey, but still worth your life. You get a flash, you get a kill.
Looking at it, PoE wants in, flash scoops 2, and Fudge is down. Next up is Blabber, but they can turn back. Jin's got to land the shots, hits PoE, Perks knocks him down. The front line of Blabber, he's so dead, and he is. But it's a 1-for-1. Syndra finds a second as Perks has a double kill to his name, and this 3v3 could look good. Not going to find the sun to speak, but they will get the root, and that might be enough. A flash for Vulcan. He wants it, he's going to get it, and now the ult is going to get lost yet again. Gale Force gets nothing done, though. It targets Sword Art. Stun's going to land on the AD carry. Sven gets the crit. Lost wants it, Lost can't find it, and now at the end, Sven gets the last kill. Cloud9 get the Bud Light ace.
Knocking him down. The skirmishes coming through here from Cloud9, winning out in these little fights. Perked is huge now, 5-1-3 on the Syndra, having a good game in the 1-2 comfort zone, lower bracket here. Perks battling back. It is TSM on the initial engage, and the first play here is great from Power of Evil, but it's committing a lot to take down Fudge. Blabber is so tanky. Look how long he actually lasts. Sterix pop. He is out over onto the Braum, so the ulti is absorbing a lot. He has the big Gore Drinker proc there into the stopwatch, all buying time for Perks to arrive to knock down Huni, and then it's about the chase here. The root again from Sven, setting himself up. Alley-oop off the backboard. He gets the auto, gets the W root. Vulcan kiting back, pulling Lost in. The stopwatch comes through, buying time for the cooldowns. The hook comes back up, the shield comes back up. They get one, they get two. Cloud9 looking for more as we're back to live.
Spica has a flash, does it, jumps back to his teammate, stays alive. 50 seconds till the Dragon comes up. This would be Cloud9's third on the way to a Mountain Soul. They've got mid pushed in, but they've still, again, got time to play with. Baron buff is timed out. FPX gold advantage, 4,500, but you know they'd love to get the Soul point.
And point your eyes again to the missing summoners. This is what Cloud9 has been so consistent with this game. Punishing summoners that are missing. Huni has no flash. Power Evil has no flash. Those are going to be the targets in the next team fight. It's not going to be about the Ashe.
Says, okay, I have to burn the cleanse. Waited, said, yeah, it's too close. I've got to go ahead and put this cooldown. Wanted to save it if he could have, but it's not going to matter. So, top lane tier 2 was killed. Gold in the pockets of Huni that he can't spend just now. Muramana in, triple item spike. Sterix now done third for Fudge. He's decently tanky if he needs to be now. But the river is completely controlled by Cloud9. They push back sorta. This is an easy solo, send one or two down there, and that dragon's going to be claimed. TSM knows it, TSM back off, and Cloud9 gonna get their third dragon.
And once Sven hits his IE, as he already has, you know, the burst just ramps up so much on these squishy champions. If you can force out the Braum Wall at a poor timing, if you can get an early hook on that and then disengage, the Braum Wall is used, well, now all of a sudden, the burst from Jhin is so incredibly threatening. On champions like Azir, Jace, Ashe, all of those champions, a fourth shot is so much of your health with GP ulti on your head, with the ultis coming through. It is really, really scary. Jhin plus Syndra is a nasty burst combo there, and Cloud9 are on Soul Point, are up 3.5k FTX gold. They are looking good here to try to force a game 5, but TSM have playmakers of their own. They have Spica here on the Lee Sin to try to find a kick, to try to find a play on one of these squishy carries, on the Jhin, on the Syndra, to try to turn something around.
Taking the time. 1 minute until Baron comes back up for Cloud9, and that might just push them over the edge here in this one. They haven't really cracked TSM's base. Mid lane tier 2 is gone, but the really important lanes are the sides. Those are the inhibitors that give you extra map control, because you have to be kind of more sequestered on the opposite side of the map to control it, and it makes it much easier to fight for your objectives. Otherwise, it's just kind of comparatively easier to control mid. A loss going to be handed the red buff. This will be higher DPS, but the slow will not matter at all. His passive's already better than that. But we've got ourselves a look at mid lane. Once again, Cloud9 going to try to push this one in first. Will be contested, of course. And all 5 are around. Nice body block there for Sword Art. Tanky enough that no one's going to go in off that route. The perk's coming around. Flash engage. He's going to look for the knockup. Almost gets the one. Ulti coming across now as well. And just elite power of evil. Next one up. It's Lost. Taking 400 damage just for a full health shot. As the turret comes alive, we know Baron's up in 7 seconds, and Spite has been saved by Blabber.
It's all about punishing the missing summoners. Again, this time, it's Power Evil without a flash, and they're just going to keep going forward. He's got to be careful, though.
Yeah, loses the Sterix gauge. He's pretty tanky, though, all the same. He can kind of heal up a little bit onto the Baron, but they still want the fight a little bit here. But a big Shock Blast means this is going to be a bit worse. Fudge can heal back up. That's what's kind of tough. Cloud9 are going to walk over as mid lane's pushed. Power Evil respawns in 20 seconds. It's going to make this Baron attempt really tough with low health bars.
Yeah, it does get tough because
Good
they
hot
took
shot.
too long, right? And they spent multiple flashes now, so even though they got that kill on PoE who had no flash, he has flash, he has TP, he can rejoin here, and this is giving tempo on the map to TSM because Cloud9 had the overchase, they didn't get any kills, and now it's TSM's window to try to pressure around Baron, to try to force cooldowns here out from Cloud9, who now can't base.
Control ward be damned. They're going in for it right now. Can Cloud9 stop this? TSM making an aggressive play.
Fast.
Early damage coming across, and they can just burn it. There's not going to be a chance for a steal. That's a clean smite. Well played, TSM. They punish the overchase by Cloud9, and just like that, TSM are back in the game.
Really well done from TSM. It's these small windows. Cloud9 want to play aggressive, want to try to chase in for these extra kills. And when you don't get them, it gives opportunities for your opponents to make counter plays like this. The death cap is completed, Azir TP's in, and Azir just absolutely shreds the Baron here with the help of the Rageblade Ashe. That is a lot of damage to focus down these targets, but Cloud9 still can look towards the Mountain Soul, and it's really, again, it's all about who doesn't have flash. Punish that carry. Flash in on Power of Evil. As he dashes back out, GP ulti on his head, Perks flashes in, nails the combo, bursts him down immediately. This Azir Tower got a lot of work done, though, from the grave here, as Blabber wanted to go forward, but Fudge is not really with the squad. And as you go in, you're kind of in this awkward spot where Lost is kiting back, using the Halo Blades really well to proc the Braum passive. Sword Art from the side is just playing such nice bodyguard there. You know, dropping the Qs, applying the passive so they can do that, and then Hootie hitting a couple big shock blasts, put Cloud9 so low that they wanted to try to go reset. TSM didn't let them.
Deathcap and Banshees in for perks. Not the Zodiacs, but the Banshees to spell shield the arrow. Speaking of which, it's going to land on a Blabber. The ulti comes across, making him hard to kill. Still out of range of most of it, and they're just not going to shut him down. Sterix pops, he's okay. Nah, loses the Guardian Angel. This could be enough. Can TSM get it on the re-engage now? They're going to find some decent damage. One kill picked up. Fudge pushing the top lane. Will not kill Hootie. If he can recall, they can save it. Speaker low. He's going to get rooted yet again, and Lost has nowhere to go. It's going to be a kill picked up, and they've got to just keep running and running and running because Gangplank is knocking down the base. Baron or not, TSM take the worst half.
They're going to try to chase him down. We'll see if they want to look for this. Sword Art and Speaker are heading up there. They will cancel. They're starting to recall. So he's going to get out. He's actually going to be able to get this now spotted, but he has enough of his team around. The other TSM members have recalled, so you can't really get anything done there. You take down Lost, you look to pressure the map, and that is critical because the Dragon is going to be up here. Lost will be dead for longer than Blabber, so maybe TSM can't contest this. We'll have to see if Speaker can get in. He's missing his flash.
Missing an AD carry makes it pretty tough to win the team fight. His stopwatch is down on Lost, so even when he respawns, he won't have that. Fudge takes a bit of damage from the Jace Flash
play.
Not going to land it there from Vulcan. Good sidestep for Power of Evil, and the bottom river is going to TSM because they have the jungler. The 4-on-4 is close enough that they say, nah, you can't contest, and second Dragon of the game goes to TSM.
There is the additional Baron power as well, so maybe taking in consideration, hey, that is some extra power they have right now. Let's not risk the game on it. But they're up gold, and that was a 4v4, and that's a play I think they could have won. But maybe not willing to go for it with some of the missing summoners, right? Perks doesn't have his flash, so that could be a key difference in that fight potentially. Again, we have to look at the TSM side. It's Cloud9 that have been starting the plays. It's them that look for the dives. So who's missing summoners? It's Lost and it is Hootie. Those are the targets. If Lost mispositions, if Hootie mispositions, expect Cloud9 to hit the go buttons to look for those kills here.
Well, the TSM Red Bull Baron power play was basically a wash. You got the 1,500 from the kill of Baron, the 3,000 XP from it, and then an equal trade of minions and turrets and kills. So we sit on this 2,000 gold advantage for Cloud9. 3 Dragons to 2. Mountain Soul certainly still a possibility for Cloud9, but not that far away for TSM either, as the builds are getting finalized pretty soon. One last slot to replace for Perks. 1.5 to go for Power of Evil. AD carry is getting close to done here as well. Anchor's going to land, decent damage, but that's Guardian Angel available, so you're not going to get a ton done. A stun into Azir won't mean much either, and now Vulcan's out of an ultimate.
Yeah, they tagged Speaker with the Jin W earlier, so he knew that someone might be in that brush. So he looks for the hook, trying to find a pick. Not the target he was hoping for. At least they proc the Sterix. That is something working in their favor off that little skirmish. But TSM getting out on the map, getting deep vision, trying to take map control here. Feels like the tides are turning a bit as they are getting stronger and stronger. The Azir, Braum, Ashe, this combo, so difficult to actually dive through. But Cloud9 can't just sit back. They've got to continue playing aggressive. They have the side lane in their favor with the GP, and they're still on soul point here. It'll be their 3rd straight soul point that they can be looking for.
Down goes the wave through mid lane. 3 minutes to go for that one. Only 120 until Baron spawns. Look for that one. Keep in mind, Azonius is on the way for Vulcan. The Knight's Vow is already in for Sword Art to help guarantee that. I'm assuming Power of Evil does not get one shot. Himself, he's actually gone Demonic Embrace. He's taken a slightly tankier option with some raw health. Keep him a little bit safer on the Azir. Also makes him a decent frontline hitter. Looking at a bit of damage towards Vulcan, but they're okay. Cloud9 want to own the river, but this rush is contested. Off goes the Banshee's Veil. Arrow's gonna have to get flashed. Guardian Angel could be popped off of Speaker, but he jumps away. Same for PoE. The shot! Oh! Just sidesteps it, but he burns the Zonias. Can they get in for the rest? No, it's gonna be PoE able to walk away. Sword Art getting low. Gangplank ult over the top, and Sven is on a killing spree. Cloud9 take map control, and the support will be dead for a Baron play.
Sven taking the game into his own hands. They're forcing the flash, forcing the stopwatch off of Power of Evil. He doesn't have a Zonius, so that is a one-use item. He just bought the Demonic Embrace, so he's gonna be far. from his Zhonyas. And again, it's about punishing summoners. That has been the Cloud9 strategy this whole game long. And now you have a target. Stopwatch and flash down for Power of Evil.
You knocked that away a little bit, but we know Baron is up right now. And ooh, people are on the opposite side of the map. Looks like Cloud9 did not think just a Sword Art Death was enough to set it up for Baron. They take the resets instead. They buy items. It's a stopwatch in for perks. It's just towards the last item for Sven. Maybe a Bloodthirster we're looking at. Maybe a Guardian Angel. We'll see which way he goes. And TSM are able to say, well, we have vision. They didn't Baron. All right, just one kill.
And Fudge has nowhere else to go. He is full build here. Just picked up the LDR. So looking to do some serious damage. We'll see if he's going to be able to connect on those barrel chains. Has had pressure largely throughout the game in the side lane, but it has not resulted in too much. Huni has been doing well to match, and Cloud9 again grouping mid.
Dragon solo possibility, 55 seconds if Cloud9 get the smite. And as your builds are finalized, both top laners are out of things to buy, as you mentioned. It gets a little more interesting. Almost 70,000 gold for both teams. The lead barely measurable in relation to how much these teams actually have. The bottom river right now does belong to Cloud9, easily soloed by Blabber or Sven, or really anyone except for Vulcan. If they get the time, but a damage towards Spica is going to be okay. Can heal back up. Another fight comes in the front line. Shuffled back and his ear goes down. 1-0. Blabber staying alive. Lost trying to shoot for his whole life, but it might not be enough. Into the front line they go. Trading a Guardian Angel out, but Perks is unstoppable. He's found 2 more kills. Chasing the Huni. Chasing towards Spica. Sven has found himself a couple of kills now as well. Unstoppable as Spica is left alone. TSM will fall in game 4. This should be the entire game because the mid lane wave is being pushed. Cloud9 have been fighting back and forth and scrapping back and forth, and now they get the ace, and they will also get the base. We are going to game 5. Cloud9 and TSM delivering, going the distance.
What a game from Cloud9, so consistently punishing missing summoners from TSM. The relentless aggression here, that is signature Cloud9. Perks is pumped.
One game separates each of them from either their season ending or a trip to Worlds and a chance at the LCS title.
It's those stakes that mean that both these teams will show everything they've got right now. There is no time for holding back strategies, any secret picks, any level 1 cheeses, any compositions that you may not have shown before must be displayed now.
This is it, right? There's no time for second guessing yourself. You gotta step up, right? And there's so much on the line for both of these teams.
So much so, and TSM so far sticking to the script that they laid out on blue side with the Thresh and the LeBlanc bans, but taking some time here on this third and final ban as they see a couple more mid lane bans coming out of Cloud9. They don't want Power of Evil to have that Syndra or that Orianna.
Yeah, and yep, here's the TF ban coming through. So TSM are gonna stick to that. I was wondering if they might let it through,
Ziggs! Ziggs is up.
Ziggs is up.
Cloud9. Vulcan in an interview said this was the Voldemort champion, that they couldn't speak about it because it was so difficult for them to play against.
Lee Sin might be the new one, though, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But they just beat it.
I mean, they just beat
it, right? Yeah. So now there's 2 Voldemort champions.
I think they're pretty validated in saying that the Lee Sin is like
beatable.
Not really the problem.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it actually looks like TSM may agree with them finally, saying, you know what, we are going to drop by priority on that Lee Sin pick to grab the Rise early.
Yeah, and this is a pick that PoE has played in the postseason, and they won on it, right? So it's not normally a pick that we associate with PoE. It's a pick that's more oriented toward playing those side lanes, playing toward that later in the game. And honestly, if I'm C9, I actually feel pretty good about that, given how potent he's been on the Azir despite the loss, and the fact that they're going to be able to get 2 power picks in the Varus, and what I hope is a Leona.
And we'll see. I'm really curious to see if they pick away the Lee Sin like they did in game 2, just to deny that. I do appreciate, though, TSM picking away the Rise because, once again, I think despite the fact that Rise had a lot of trouble early on because of Varus Ori, it was a huge reason why C9 was able to come back in that game.
Yeah, not feeling the Aurelia pick because the Rise is a fine matchup into a lots of CC between the Ruined Prison and the Everfrost, and you already had an opportunity to outrange TSM's comp with a regular control mage between the Varus and the Rise. TSM with the Rise pick gotta deny, and it felt like they thought that this would push down Perks' champion pool into the Aurelia that we had seen before, and I think they're feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah. If this is the case, if they want to go with the Aurelia again, which I don't think is necessarily a bad pick, I think it's really important that we get Braum off the field. I think part of the reason it was so difficult to play Aurelia last time was because you were into basically a full counter with the Azir, with the Braum. I don't think it's going to be as adversarial this time. And there's not too many options left for Perks. So I think it's okay to pick the Aurelia.
Braum is strong, very strong into Leona, but also, or the Aurelia, but Leona would also be really difficult for Aurelia to dive into. So I think that already Cloud9 has shown that they're not gonna ban all the support champions. They're probably gonna take it right now because of the fact that you're not gonna be able to get rid of them. By picking it first, you would at least divide the Braum and Leona.
I like the Nautilus take, especially since we talked about how much that pick did for the composition we just saw. Also, Aurelia was a setup for being able to take the Diana because of AD and AP magic damage, or magic damage in the jungle, AD damage from the Aurelia. I also really like I wanted to point out the Kalista pick because obviously they picked the Lee Sin, but the Kalista gives them bot side pressure as well, which I also really like because I want at least one pushing lane for Spica. So
yeah, okay, good. So take the Braum away. Make sure it's not a threat for you. At this point, I think C9 has a draft where they know that there's not too many hard counters to the fact that Aurelia wants to be really, really proactive, and because they have counter pick, no matter what is picked into top lane, they can have the opportunity to respond with Fudge. You can even look at picks like the Gnar or the Nocturne top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
well, actually, I guess it could technically be a flex between Lee and Nocturne.
Yeah, could be jungle. We saw Blabber play it actually, and also Tarzan played it in the LPL. So they could be flexing the Lee Sin top, but this is a Huni pick.
Huni kept playing Nocturne.
Yeah, he never stopped.
I'm assuming it's gonna go.
It's gonna get a lot of value. There's a lot of members on Cloud9 that don't have the ability to escape out of this. The Diana, the Volt, the Varus, even the Gwen, Aurelia to a degree, can't escape from Huni jumping onto them. That makes him so much more powerful.
And it's not just the Nocturne, it's actually the combination of Nocturne and Rel that has been so potent. When Nocturne was really broken, we saw this combo drafted really often, and it's really scary to play against if you're a Varus and you're in a mobile carry. Granted, there is a Braum to protect, but it's going to be really important that in team fights, Sven's positioning is on point.
No hat. No hat for Perks. That's the
Why would you go back, dude?
100% win rate, no cap.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, we're getting a Gwen back on the stage. Huni's reaching back towards his Nocturne. We've got the Rel for Sword Art. We got the patented Lee Sin for Spica. We've got playmakers galore across both of these squads. These teams have brought everything to the table today, and they're all evened up at 2-2. It's TSM, it's Cloud9. It's hard to imagine a world where neither of them make it, but one of them won't.
Game 5 is here between TSM and Cloud9, and honestly, if your friends aren't watching this series with you, can you even call them friends? This is where you want to be. This is the match you want to watch. One of these teams' years is over, and the other heads to the World Championship.
And the confidence of the top laners, double ignite here. We got Fudge and Huni, no flash, and you know what that means. Attention towards the top side. And Spica has been so good in the early games and also does have the early jungle advantage here. Lee Sin against Diana. Diana is not a threatening ganker, and I think that is going to give Huni a little bit more confidence to play with the ignite, even though he is on a champion without a dash. So this is going to be really interesting. Gwen has not been seen a lot in pro ever since the latest round of nerfs. The attack speed removed off the E. It is half the attack speed bonus it used to be at level 1, which is a lot of where people really felt this champion had its biggest power. You know, you have the E level 1, you just run straight at your opponent, utilize that bonus attack speed, utilize that bonus damage to really create big advantages. And Perks also back to the Aurelia after what was, admittedly, a pretty up and down game. He had some good moments. He had a lot of moments where I'm sure he would like it back, where he wasn't able to execute on the level that he wanted. But this is a guy who has been supremely confident in his own play throughout his entire career. One bad game does not shake Perks. If he feels it's the right pick, he's going to go to it.
And we get the top lane fight between two recently nerfed top lane champions. Huni, one of the only players I've seen play Nocturne after the passive minion nerfs.
Yeah.
Many top laners hopped off of Gwen. She's still around a little bit since the early game E attack speed nerf. You mentioned that a second ago. I still think Gwen's late game scaling is amazing. I'm still not a big Nocturne fan, but to his credit, Huni has made it work when he's played it for the most part, and he's going to have early lane pressure level 2 next minion.
And they'll have, multiple semi-globals, right? The Rise ult plus the Nocturne ult, the ability to try to collapse on plays that Cloud9 may not be ready for. I like Sword Art here playing in dismounted form. I just think it's the superior way to actually play in the early levels. The threat of the W flash flip, it's almost impossible to react to, where it's actually quite easy to react to a mounted W. So if you are trying to threaten any sort of potential all-in, as he was when it was level 2 to level 1, it's good to stay unmounted. And then as soon as it's more even playing field, you often want the shield from the crashdown available, so then you remount, and you are just kind of seeing Sword Art, obviously very comfortable on the champ, knows how to play it out, and playing appropriately.
It's a pretty standard 3-wave play here from Huni. Going to be... let's see if he's going for pushing it all the way in or if he's making it go back to him. You can kind of go either way because you can hard push on this wave or just say, actually, it's on your side of the turret. As long as the cannon minion dies, it's going back to me, and I can kind of receive this freely under my turret. Lee Sin is on his side of the map. I forget what read they had on the opposite road, but Blabber is indeed pathing top to bot.
Yep, and Huni just wants to shove because he is getting low on mana. He has one more charge on that Corrupting Potion, but you're getting to the danger zone here. With Ignite available on Fudge.
Yeah, he's got mana. But jungle difference, right? Like, that's the thing, is I think they've both surmised which way the junglers are, so Huni can kind of play on the edge. Because Fudge is like, well, is he baiting me? Or is he inting? And it's like, if he's baiting me, I'm just dead, because I have no flash. If he's inting, I still don't want to get him.
Well, and that's why Fudge is playing it pretty safe, right?
Yeah.
He's not fully committing to it. He's just trying to fight enough that he can't get the wave to crash, and not so much that if the Lee Sin's in the brush, you're dead, right? And that's kind of the line you want to walk here. And Fudge does play it well. He did a really good job of actually Eing out of many of the Qs that Huni was shooting, and that kind of created some of the advantage. But that being said, the wave is going to push away from him. Blabber just got spotted on that deep ward, and Fudge is still down on farm.
Yeah, nicely done. I don't know whose ward that was. I want to say it was Huni off of one of the earlier pushes. Yeah. I'm not sure about that one. Either way, definitely a value ward to know where Diana was pathing through. I think she walked by a different ward afterwards, but still good info as the recalls come in. TP is held for the Nocturne as he's walking back to his lane now. Temporarily a farm lead for the Gwen, but I don't believe there's too many minions denied, so plenty for Huni to farm.
Yeah, and it does get awkward here. Now, this is the spot where you kind of want coverage from your jungler as the Gwen, because you've used your potions, your opponent just bot, and you need to get the wave shoved. So you're always at risk. We know that Lee Sin is on the bot side. I think they had a slight bit of vision.
Wow. They're going to try to get Huni off this wave. Okay. I mean, he'll lose a lot of farm here, right? The cannon's going to go down, all the other minions as well. This is a really, really nice play. It's just... yeah, Perk's losing his entire TP. He's actually losing a wave himself, to be clear, but they're denying even more off of Huni.
Maybe Fudge just TP's mid, and that's actually the answer. But this gets awkward as Huni's going in. Power Evil is here.
Finds a fear, but Blabber's here as well. 3v3, here we go. It's going to be a fight. It's so much been about the early game, and Perk's getting a bit low. We'll have to burn his flash to stay alive, and he does so. Ignite traded for his flash again. They denied a lot of farm, but Perk's lost a similar amount in mid.
Yeah, it's hard to say if it's worth. Honestly, you kind of have to see the extended play. The fact that you use your flash and TP to deny some minions while losing some of your own, I think they were hoping that that would have gone better for them. But it is a deep TP flank here from the Gwen. They want to try to collapse on this.
Blabber dives on, and he's going to take a lot of damage, so he's been shot up. Does he have a smite? Yes, he does. Going to be okay for now. Now looking at Spica, looking at Power Reveal. Can the rest of the team even be there? Huni trying to get towards level 6. He won't get it off this wave. There's no way. And so ultimately, he's not going to be part of this fight. They're still chasing in for more damage. Power Reveal now attacked yet again. Does have his flash. Doesn't matter. First blood comes through for Fudge. That TP was great.
Cloud9 not giving up on the aggressive plays. This has been their signature in this series. Even when one play does not work, they are not dissuaded. They go for the next aggressive play. The TP flank from the level 5. Oh, that was kind of clean. Nicely done there from Perks dodging out. Sort of just trying to hold the wave so Spica can come and actually collect this. But Perks has to be a little bit careful now as more members are coming in. But grabbing that first blood, going towards the early Bramble, really nice here for Fudge. Getting that early Bramble completion against Nocturne and Lee Sin is going to have you feeling pretty safe. It's mostly about the extended fights that he wants to win out on. Does lose a little bit of experience, but we'll see how much of that he can recoup as the wave does crash.
And we look back at the bottom lane right now. 600 gold lead to Cloud9. A replay of the first fight into the second one.
Okay, so how many minions are there actually? There's 5 range minions, there's a cannon, there's 2 melee minions. So plus the next wave coming in, so that's a lot. Like he's getting denied off of 2.5, 3 waves there. So that is pretty significant. The cost is TP and flash, a full wave mid, to deny 2.5-ish waves, right? So that's kind of the look there. Huni would have been in range for a little bit of the experience. Whether or not it's worth it is really hard to say. It's just kind of going to be the extended play where we decide that. But this ward ended up meaning so much. And Blabber, I thought he went in too early. I actually thought this was going to be a death. But the smite heal coming through bought a lot of time. And then they just have the extended chase. Because every time Gwen E's and gets that auto, the cooldown on that E is lowered. So they just keep going forward, continue the chase, committing to Power of Evil. And doesn't end up being able to get that flash. He was trying to find a good spot to flash. You know, just I think flashing a straight line wouldn't have done it. I wonder if he could have, you know, maybe just flashed out early over the wall or something. But I think his read was they can't actually make this chase down happen. Gwen isn't 6.
Right, and I mean, her item was Bramble Vest, right? She didn't come in with boots or, you know, a couple of amp tomes, whatever. It's like, yeah, I accept the read that they don't have the damage, but turns out PoE didn't have any durability either. And you can chase down a level 5 Rise. He doesn't have many tank stats, and that was a correct assessment on Cloud9's side. FTX gold advantage 1100. That is more than just the kill. That is them out farming in the lanes. A flash to safety for Sven means that counterpunch, though, on a Sword Art, he's got to flash away as well.
Flash for flash. It is off the carry, though. TSM come out healthier in the trade. With the early Vamp, I'm curious if this is going to be Shield Bow with Hail Blades again, or if it's going to be Eclipse, right? Because I was expecting, we talked about this in the earlier game, where it was a bad early game, but they're going in.
Already the clash down. Sword Art locks them up. The ulti there as well. That's one, and they're going to find 2 for nothing. TSM with the bot diff.
Man, you could see Sword Art in the player cams there popping off, knowing how big that was for the team. Double kill onto Lost is massive, and it was off of the support experience. The earlier level 6 for the Rel, they go for the hard commitment to that play, and they get so much off of it.
But Fudge still wants to be the difference maker. Slightly down in farm, but has a bunch of priority here. Spica does have his smite, waiting for Blabber to come around before they pop the eye. Still 300, burst it in. There's the smite, no problem. Claimed by Cloud9, well done there. Herald is in.
The gold advantage, the FTX gold advantage here, slightly in the favor of TSM, but ever so slightly. We'll have to see what they can get done here. And it's just off the level up. He goes in, and it is this trade of flashes, and this is kind of what prompted it. Vulcan getting fairly low off the play, and then is sort of just hiding in the brush when he levels. I think he probably, let's see. We didn't see the initial start of it. So it's actually, wow. It was actually the Vulcan engage. He levels up off of a minion death. That was a level 5 versus level 5 engage. The minion kill there, giving him the experience, the immediate level up, and he was absolutely popping off. He knows how big that is, wants to get back to Worlds. I mean, this guy was in the World Finals, comes to TSM here, wants to be able to find success here in North America to push his team towards a potential title here in summer. They were first in the regular season. High expectations for them and for him coming into summer here and trying their best to live up to those.
And here we go. First dragon of the game. Gonna go TSM's way, holding the gold lead now and the objective lead. We'll wait to see what Rift Herald does. That should put something back toward Cloud9's way, but not a single turret has lost a plate, so it's just gonna be the 320 for the crash. And that means TSM should well and truly be in the lead on the scoreboard. We are seeing double longsword come through. Still not sure what it's going to be for Sven.
Spica has flash. There's no flash on the bottom laners there from C9. So if they step forward, they could easily get kicked in.
Topside fight could look pretty decent. Huni gets some decent damage across. Fudge, though, it would be back with the Q. Is again, with Bramble Vest, he's actually pretty tanky in the 1v1.
Yeah. I think it's a really hard extended fight for Huni to actually win. Especially because the ulti from Gwen is just going to get more value in the 1v1, straight up. It is more powerful in that situation. So if you take the extended play, Conqueror fully stacked versus Conqueror fully stacked, Gwen with the ulti, I expect to really come out on top. And it's honestly just going to get worse once Riftmaker's done. I think that mythic for Gwen is much bigger than whatever Huni's going to complete as his first item. It's just, the champion almost becomes a different character entirely once you have that completed. The sustain is so incredibly high, and Ignite is there to reduce some of that, to help negate some of that, but man, it is just such a nasty combo.
It is. But TSM moving the players around the map, looking around the top river right now. No Herald to play for a while, but maybe the chance at a top lane play. Not going to happen here either, though. Blabber and Vulcan going to spot out. Knock down the ward. Okay. Still waiting for where the turret plates will be claimed. One turret plate taken in the bot lane for TSM. Looks like Herald top to accelerate Gwen. I think that is the exact right champion to give money. They now have 4 champions. Call it 5 right now in the top lane.
But look at the map. Everyone's moving up here. It's 5v5 in the top lane at 12 minutes. Will there be a commitment to a fight?
Rom ult onto Lost. They dive in 1 for nothing. And they might find a second there. No flash for Sword Art trying to walk away. He just barely does so. 2 turret plates die in the top lane. The third just at 1 HP. A second kill on the board for Cloud9.
That aggressive move from Cloud9. I believe it was this ward in the entrance that actually spotted them just a little bit lower off screen as they walked in, and they commit to it over the wall here. I think that ward would have been the one that spotted them, prompts them to go in, fully committing to it. Perks flashing in, no hesitation this time. It was around this top lane in the previous Aurelia game that he didn't commit his flash, that he whiffed on the ulti. The play turned bad for them this time around. Yeah, let's see it. Yep, it is, exactly. This ward right here spots you coming in. Cloud9 wants to go over the wall. Vulcan tags him with the ulti, no hesitation. E, ult flash, Q from Sven. They get the shutdown. They get the tower plates. That is a big strike back there for Cloud9.
Great aim by Vulcan. That ult was basically unflashable. You knew it was coming, and you didn't, right? He was in fog. There's no way that there's any option for loss once that comes down. So well played by Cloud9. Even though the dive was identified, it was still played better.
And this Diana game, for Blabber, it's night and day versus the last one that he was playing. He was really struggling in that game. He was down in farm. He wasn't really being able to get involved whatsoever. He has been involved in a minor role, but I mean, he's up in farm. He has matched the Lee Sin at every turn, and Lost is in trouble again.
Lost wanted a turret plate, and Lost gonna get chased down. His cleanse is already gone. He burned the flash, but maybe they find the re-engage. It's crashed down for 1. Sword Art buys some time, but here come the teleports. It's gonna be a 4 versus 3, but a Callista ult brings him right back to safety. Easy walkway for now for Power of Evil. Can Perks find a stun? This seems unlikely. Oh, it's gonna be on the front line. It's big damage. It's gonna be a kill. Sword Art is down.
No hesitation there from Cloud9. Again, the counter play on the TSM move. It was PoE first to TP, but Perks makes no mistake connecting on the stun there. He is really on fire over these last 2 games, and Cloud9 looking for more.
Slow. That could be a stun. It's going to be a flash get away, but here comes Nocturne as well. Will it be enough of a fight? PoE may just drop the Realm Warp. Oh, it's a kill, and they get to safety. TSM, hold on.
Oh, that was so close to being so much more there for Cloud9. TSM get a much-needed kill back. Being able to escape there, huge for Power of Evil. Committed the flash, committed the Realm Warp, needed to get out, and he did.
And the gold is on Lost. If you ask most people who's the weak link on TSM, they'd say that man down to the bottom lane, but he's got 3 kills. He's the one picking them up.
And I think a lot of people might be singing a different tune from today. I think Lost has played a great series here for TSM, was critical in a lot of their wins. The counter TP here from Perks. He drops the stun very far back, then gets in range for the Q, dashing in onto Lost, finds the stun onto Sword Art. Didn't have the angle to actually get it in onto Lost himself, but good target selection. They look for the chase, and these kind of plays can build so much momentum. It was critical for TSM to be able to fight back here, to be able to get something back in this extended play. We can see in live, TSM is doing the dragon, and Power of Evil flashes out there. We're back to live.
Aurelia ult is on, looking for the resets. Will they find their actual team fight? Pulled in by Diana, and it's again going to be Sword Art falling. Lost has to run, but Lost only has a cleanse. Will it be enough with Rend? It seems unlikely. Burns the summoner, but dies anyway. Health bar's not low enough for it to matter. Huni cannot come back in.
Vulcan was so big in that fight, creating so much space and just blocking all of the damage as his team piled forward there, putting up the wall and using Braum to facilitate the dive, to facilitate the engage. Cloud9 are looking so confident. Huni tries with the Q, but no chance of getting that when Blabber had his smite available. Riftmaker is complete there for Fudge. You have to imagine that Perks is getting close to his Mythic being completed. Mythic is done for his Bennett, is the shield bow, so this may just be the intended build from the previous game, ahead or behind, because he's having a good time this game. And with all of these mythics coming online, Cloud9 will continue to pile on the pressure, continue to keep up.
It is TSM at least getting something, though. There is always a counterpunch for both of these teams. Gold lead not massive, certainly answerable here, one dragon apiece. And as we haven't found an actual turret kill, a Rift Herald charge will basically equalize the game with first turret gold. That's happening right now.
And Power of Evil is in a pretty good position here. He has a ton of farm.
No stun for Perks means no resets. The Q that can nearly kill him has to jump away. He's going to stay alive. Rush the Gore Drinker, by the way. Before it was Ruin King. A possibility could have been Wit's End, but he's like, hey, it's 4 melee. 3.5. I mean, Ryze and Callisto are kind of short range, but we're Gore Drinker. We're staying alive. Does so in this one.
And I think he's going to be going for the tanky teamfight build. I think it's going to be Sterix. TSM looking to threaten the wraparound, but C9 has the cover. These two teams back and forth, so evenly matched over the course of the series. Power of Evil has a significant farm advantage, has the Everfrost, can get a lot of value there with the Spellflux and the Everfrost against 4 melee. If you can find that fight, if you can stay safe and start getting multiple rounds of spells out, you can take over. And he's going to be one of the guys that they're relying on to pressure in the side lane as well, because Huni, I don't think he's in a favorable matchup really against the Aurelia or the Gwen at this point, who both have gotten kills, who both have additional gold.
Realm Warp, just got to sidestep all of it. Baits out a couple of ultis, though, and is able to walk out. Not a bad one for Power of Evil, but it will be top lane turret dying. First turret of the game goes Cloud9's way. FTX gold advantage 2.2 thousand, and Sword Art Hex flashes the wall, but cannot find an engage to get any closer. At least not just yet.
Yeah, Power of Evil playing it properly. But Vulcan as well, throwing the ultimate at the corner of the Realm Warp, that is where he would have to go. Either way, they zone him out with that ulti. They do take that tier 1. And Fudge back down to this bottom side here. He is going towards split push build. It's likely going to be Nashor's as his next one here. Ready to scrap. It's not a Zhonya's rush. More for the 5v5.
Oh, yeah. Huni's not even really dedicating many of his cooldowns. He's saving his W shield.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's, some of the damage you're just not blocking, the deck you're not gaining. Whatever, now his Fear is back up, so the fight looks better next time around if he wants to try. But as you mentioned, once the Mythic comes in, it makes it tough to look at. Of course, Fudge is stacking armor. Armor scales really well with functional Omnivamp, which is what he's got through Riftmaker and, half the kit. So, pretty well positioned in the 1v1 against Huni, as you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at this point in the game for Huni, you're just on wave clear duty. You're not trying to commit to the fight. And Cloud9 are going to use that pressure here. They have mid pushed in. They're trying to invade, get down some wards. It is pretty early, but they're just looking to start fights. They're looking to attack camps. It's not about the dragon right now. It's about just posturing aggressively, finding fights because they feel that they are in a winning position right now.
Here we go, into the mid lane. Minute 40 on Dragon, no one's close to Soul, but as you mentioned, Cloud9 happy to take almost any fight that's equal numbers because they are ahead, and they're ahead in, I believe, every single role in every single lane. The exception may be in the bot lane, as Lost has 3 kills to his name. Otherwise, though, pretty much pick any 1v1, and yeah, there's more gold on Cloud9's side. So, 2,500, Huni at least gets some access to the wave, is going for the tankier build of a Gore Drinker. All right, no stride breaker, assassinate a backliner, slow him down, chase him. No, he's got to be a bruiser in the front. Makes sense in the context, but now Sword Art is going to catch the wave and let Huni get some time with the turret.
Nicely done. Sword Art on the threaten there. I don't actually think that they could have had a 2v1 kill, but he doesn't know that it is just the 2. I don't think he has full awareness of where everyone is. So just going to play a little bit more cautiously, back it up. Cloud9 are trying to play the map. You can see Perks was pushing in top lane. Sven, Blabber, and Vulcan trying to get mid lane going in the right direction, trying to push up and threaten that. And with Huni basing, Fudge will just, again, look to push out, look to prep for this dragon. 35 seconds until it is up. Infernal Soul, going to be a key one, I think, for two teams that are very kind of front-heavy as far as their damage. A lot of burst on both sides here.
Pinging around. We know there's ward coverage on the Baron, and in fact, it's going to be started here. This is a sneak. Yeah, there is no Cloud9 vision. Perks has an inkling. Maybe? Yeah, they're waiting around. They know they have to walk over to this one. As TSM pull them across, is there an engage? They found Vulcan. They're going to pull the Nocturne ulti. Is this the fight? Gwen's on the wrong side of the map without the ability to teleport just yet. This 5v4 could be good. Realm Warp not going to go for anything. But here comes the re-dive. Sword Art's in. Isn't going to be enough damage, though, as the front lines go back and forth. Stopwatch the burn, but no one's yet dead.
Here's
and
Fudge.
the re-engage comes in. Perks knocks down Huni. Perks knocks down Sword Art. And he is here to claim his throne of the LCS. A triple kill, and TSM are pushed off the map.
They're gonna get the Baron. This is huge. 3K up already. Cloud9 win the fight. They're gonna look for the Baron. It's up to Spica for some heroics, but they're turning on him. No chance of the steal.
He's in a 1v3, and the other two have pretty much no problem going for it. Perkz gonna be all right with this one. Blabber's sitting around as well.
Low.
You gotta be a little careful. PoE has teleport, but nowhere to send it right now. Looking just to walk at them, of course, as he's alive, and yeah, can't just do more than look at the Baron. As the respawns come in for the rest, they're nowhere
He's
around.
TPing, they want
Flashes in
this.
for damage, re-engage in for the Cloud9. Is it gonna kill him? Yes, it will. Blabber's good for 1, and Spica's gotta get out for 2. Baron being worn, purple, the color of royalty. Cloud9 looking to be the kings of the LCS. TSM about to be the jesters as Huni has to walk away. The flash follow. Perkz wants it all, but can't get it just yet. Diana ult comes in. Fudge with the kill. One trade it back, though. Lost only gets the 1 as it's going across for Gwen for 2. A third comes in for Sven. It's 12-4, and TSM, they can buy a roster, but they can't buy a win.
Cloud9 erupt into screams on the stage, winning a huge fight there. They know their chances are so good from this position. Cloud9 getting the fight, getting the Baron, winning the re-engage. As Huni TP'd in, they wanted to commit to it. TSM felt that they needed to get something back there, but they could not. Perkz closing the door, it feels like, on this game, as TSM wanted to look for the aggressive play. And the initial play, it looks like, hey, there's everyone here from TSM. They can maybe come out on top. Really nice sidesteps as well. Look at this sidestep from all 3 members on the Perkz ulti. That was beautiful from the TSM side. But everyone turning onto the TSM front line, bursting down Sword Art. As Fudge arrives, his damage is insane. And Perkz is picking up the kills. They get the triple kill onto the Aurelia. They zone out the Lee Sin. They take the Baron. And TSM have got to feel their LCS title hopes slipping away here. Power of Evil trying to force. They were trying to look for a big play. He gets a lot of damage in, but the flash in left him vulnerable on the turn. And with him going down, Huni can't fight his way in the 1v5. Sven zones them out. They continue to pile forward. And Perkz is getting the absolute maximum here out of his champion. Flashes in. Gore Drinker on 2. Into the stopwatch there, buying so much time. Lost even overcommitting, trying to pile in, trying to get something there. But it is all Cloud9.
Here we go. Time to punch and take it to Worlds. Time to end TSM season if you can make it happen. But first, a ward hop kick should find Vulcan. Over the top goes Sword Art. Huni is alive. Is this a fight? But Blabber is here to shut it down. Gets one back out of the Nocturne. A knockup is in. Sword Art wants in, but no. They cannot stop the solo lanes. There's too much power as 3 kills come back. And Power of Evil, yet to win a title in his career, will be stymied again. He can watch his empire fall around him, but it's 16-5. Cloud9 farther and farther and farther ahead. The Baron buff finally ends with almost 7,000 gold earned from the Red Bull Baron power play.
Just an insane advantage. Nearly 10,000, now 10,000 gold ahead before 25. Cloud9 coming up clutch when it matters most. Playoff Perkz well and truly has arrived. This man has built a career, has built a reputation on being clutch, on showing up in the important games. And he is definitely doing that here.
Even Danny's getting involved. To be fair, he wanted a Felios. It's not full credit. All right, Sven went back to playing Varus. You don't have to do it, Kyle.
Danny can join the Doug Trio now.
He can
be
I
our
would
third
love
member.
that. Danny, I know you're watching. Doug Trio next season.
All right, TSM, it's up to heroics. And really, when you look at the playmaking, it has to be Spica or Sword Art. You need a miracle engage here to have a shot. You're down 10,000. You're losing sides. You're losing 5v5. So many powerful item completions are coming through as well. You know, Sterik's now done here for Perkz. The stopwatch is in for Sven. He's got the 2-item defensive build. Zonia's already done. Blabber's on 3 items. Like, they have got to look for some sort of a play. And this is smart. Send your solo laner out to a side. Shadow him with the jungle. Try to find someone showing up to the wave. Huni even in the area for a Nocturne ulti. Because 3v1s, 2v1s, those are your only chance. And that's how you buy more time. not to just turn the game around, but to get yourself some more time, some more opportunities to farm. But it's Cloud9 as a squad moving up here. Vulcan flash in the wall. They want this.
Hard flashes to get in there. Q's gonna land before he can spell shield, and this could be the chase down. Ulti's gonna get stopped, but it means that Perks can stun afterwards. No way out for Huni. Buys a second with Gore Drink, but they've gotta have the damage. This has gotta actually happen, and it does. Perks now dominating 6-0-9.
And Fudge had the read. As soon as they got this catch onto Huni, everyone from TSM moved to the bottom side, tried to find Fudge. And look where Fudge is. He is back. He is recalling. He is staying safe because Cloud9 knows the TSM win conditions. It's find someone in the side. It's find an odd man fight because that is your only hope. But Cloud9, 12,000 gold ahead. They are on what looks to be the victory march.
Trying now, 12,000 gold as you mentioned. First turret's gonna die. Looking at the respawn for Huni in 10 seconds. They know almost any team fight is gonna be a Cloud9 win unless something catastrophic happens there. Inhibitor will take its last breath. Yeah, he's gonna walk up and kill it. Okay, that's it for now. Baron's up in 30. Set that one up, take any fight, use it to end the game.
Trying to push in these multiple waves, keep the pressure on. If they see the window, Cloud9 can definitely die before it, but they don't need to risk it. Keep Fudge out on the map. He has a TP. He's got 3 items plus a Bramble. There's no shot anyone can win a 1v1 against him. I mean, compare the items here between Huni and Fudge. It's just not even close, and Cloud9 are laying a trap here.
Great side step PoE baited the Braum Cube with a flash ult for Blabber, sets up 3. Sword Art buys some time and gets pulled right back out. Romort brings in nobody. That was excellently played, disengaged by TSM.
Yeah, that was critical, but still, flash off Power of Evil, flash off of Spica. You turn to the bear and you say, all right, what do you got for the next try? Because they are going to be on it. There's no shot TSM can get over here. They know it. So even though they escape, even though that was well played, they lose the Baron, and now the Dragon is on the table here as well. But I don't even know if Cloud9 care. They have pressure here on the map. They want to get the waves moving in the right direction. And the game is not going to get better from them from here. So they want to try to end this game. They're massively ahead. They have everything they need.
So, the Drake is alive, but do you even want to try to contest this one? Theoretically, actually, it could have been stuck, right? Cloud9 crossing their T's out of their eyes. They're taking a full recall and saying, all right, let's just shop up. We don't care. Dragon Soul's not a game plan. Let's go for it. End of the day, yeah. Honestly, TSM had the chance. They could have snuck it in, but if Cloud9 wanted to look, they were going to lose, and it will be Cloud9 getting the maximum.
Yeah, and it's tough because you can look for those sorts of plays as TSM, but what if you get double TP'd on?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to lose the game off of a Dragon that's not even going to be enemy's soul. Their only hope down this much is not one Dragon. It is a catastrophic series of events for Cloud9, and I think their call is our best shot at making that happen is a base defense, is delaying the game. But Cloud9 have so many luxury items. Zhonya's done top jungle. You have Sterix in the mid lane. You've got GA, Locket. You have so many things that TSM is going to have to push through, and it's so difficult to do when you're this far behind.
Mika is stunned, but he's able to jump back with the safeguard. So just fine for now. FTX gold advantage, 14,000. Absurd. They have basically a 6th member worth of gold at this point in time, maybe even above that one. As now the bottom turret's under fire. Mid lane doesn't have much of a wave. Slowly but surely the bot lane is getting attacked. Yeah, indeed, no one is helping push in mid, so that is just simply going to get cleared out by the Nocturne. Perks takes on the last minion, and here comes reinforcements. Bot lane turret is gone. With this turret gone, you do not fight. You let the inhibitor die, you try for the next one. Superman is coming in from the top lane. Mid untouched, but this could be enough as they walk in 2 waves at once, quickly cleared by the Rise, and now they go on the turrets. TSM must fight, and Sword Art starts it off. Nocturne here as well, but do they have what they need? Here comes Diana, pulls in 3, big damage. This could be the death knell. Cloud9 in for 3, Cloud9 in for 4, and Cloud9 will end TSM's year. Cloud9, North America's best international team, are headed back to Worlds.
Perks goes godlike as they knock down the Nexus. Oh, that picture says it all. The team battling back here against TSM.